Good morning and welcome to a very sunny Sydney parade in South County Dublin here for the Cricket Leinster Finals Day, the first of 4 live stream finals. Coming to you and you're joining us just in time for the first ball here. Andrew Leonard as Hugh Kennedy opens the bowling for Merrion seconds in the big Tillain Cup final, the IBI Corporate Finance Tillain Cup final. Andrew Leonard, as I said, here with Isabel Joyce. Good morning, Isabel. A little bit of a scramble this morning, but we're up and most importantly the sun is shining.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Delighted to be here on such a sunny day, such an exciting event. Knockharley taking on Merrion 2s in that IBI Corporate Finance Tillain Cup final. Good start from Hugh Kennedy. The tall man got a bit of bounce out of this Pembroke wicket first up, and now a good length ball that's been batted back at him.
Yeah, and what a pleasant surprise to be in September, have the sun shining, and an early start this morning, 10:45 a.m. local time. And as you said, Hugh Kennedy opening the bowling from the Willfield Road end here. Knockharley won the toss this morning, 10:15 a.m. this toss. The alarm clocks were on early. And it is a grand finals weekend that we have in store for Cricket Leinster. 7 trophies to be given away, 14 teams battling it out across all 7 cups.
It's well run.
Going to be the first runs of the day is a direct hit attempt. Might have been close, but Knockharley are up and underway.
Yeah, it's Ross Shiv Mangal, a classy left-handed bat. You'll know these Merrion players very well. Ross, originally a Knockharley player, he's played a few seasons for Merrion and now gone back to his roots, and great to see him getting to a final, him and his brother Harry playing against his former teammates. So they'll both know each other just as well as the other, and it'll be a good battle to see how they go.
Yeah, and Merrion, their path to the final, had a really good win over my club here, Pembroke, seconds last week on this very ground. A tight fought 2-run victory, spectacular catch at backward point to get them across the line off the very final ball to spark some joyous scenes for clubmates of yours, Izzy. So a little bit of rivalry at the desk here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was wondering whether I was going to be calling a game with you in it or calling a game with you alongside me. So it was an amazing game. Brilliant to be able to watch it on the live stream myself at home. Myself, my brother, my mum, we're all watching it. Hearts and mouths, and what a catch to finish the game. Great standards and really, really entertaining level of cricket to.
Yeah, I think the way I bowled and batted contributed to Merrion's place in the final here. But much better suited to being in the commentary box than out there making a fool of myself on the pitch, as we have the first wide of the day. Aidan Seaver, one of the 2 standing umpires with Bala Kalash. Aidan developing into one of the finest umpires in the country, it has to be said.
Yeah, he's very calm and collected. He's a good one to watch if you're an up-and-coming umpire. Just shows you how to measure your decisions. He takes his time, but he keeps the game moving. So that's what I always think shows a good umpire. And you're not really aware that he's there. That's the key, I think, when you're either umpiring or refereeing. Let the game play.
Always a good sign. Yeah, Aidan was one of the umpiring team that made that journey down to Cork earlier in the week for the game, only to be abandoned, unfortunately, due to a COVID scare. That's Hugh Kennedy's slower ball, the very slower ball that got me out. I hacked across the line, was clean bowled by it last week, deceiving another batsman there, beating him outside the off stump.
Yeah, it's not the most well-disguised slower ball that I've seen. He rolls his fingers, it's an off-cutter, but his arm action definitely slows down. But I'm not sure if you were watching the ball as much, like you were more. It was if it was in the arc.
It was definitely in the arc, but certainly nothing was going out of the park from my bat last week. Yeah, Kennedy, a menacing figure, intimidating, tall, fast bowler. And a big appeal, that one maybe just angling down, absolutely not. Aidan Seaver doesn't think so, and Kennedy strikes. The first wicket to fall comes in the first over. A big breakthrough for Merrion, and that is the first wicket of finals weekend.
Yeah, he's just changed his length there, Hugh Kennedy. He bowled it a little bit fuller, and he's elicited a shot across the line. It looked like he was in danger there, and Aidan Seaver did take his time, as we spoke about earlier, that he likes to do, but made sure, and he was happy that one was out.
Yeah, we're still getting our technology up in front of us here. Going to see if we can bring you the replay of that. It certainly looked close, but Aidan Seaver, he always takes his time over the decisions before getting the finger out. Just going to try and bring up the replay on our screen in front of us here before we can bring it to you. And yeah, really across the line. That looked very adjacent, probably going on to hit the middle of leg stump.
Yeah, really successful first over there from Hugh Kennedy. He's got a good breakthrough early on. He's only conceded a couple of runs. there was a run-out chance, and now from the other end we'll be seeing a bit of spin. Really exciting bowler here, someone I love to watch play. It's Peter Forkin. He'll be bowling some off-spin from around the wicket.
Yeah, one of the two Forkin brothers that are really making great strides in I suppose Leinster youth representative sides, but also there at Merrion Cricket Club.
Yeah, you're not likely to see a family that loves cricket more than the Forkins around at the moment. It's just been huge for them the last few years. They took it up in Wesley College and came down to Merrion a few years ago, where they just grew a love for the game. Two spinners. Daniel Forkin will be playing as well. He bowls with a left arm spin, smaller than Peter for now. He'll be hoping to grow and catch up, no doubt. But yeah, so he'll be bowling around the wicket to the left-handed batter of Ross Mangal.
Yeah, he's had an impact in almost every Merrion side he's played for. I think he's even had a game or two on the firsts as well now.
Yeah, he had a good season last year for the firsts. He actually took 5 wickets in his first game for the first last year against Leinster Cricket Club. On, it must be said, a wicket that would help a spinner, but nonetheless you have to bowl on the stumps and get the wickets and all that, and as a 15-year-old it was very impressive. And he did really well through the season. This year he's kind of had a full season on the twos. They have a lot of spin in the first team, and I think it's been really good for his game. Senior spinner on the twos.
Yeah, he's going to come around the wicket to the left-handed Shiv Mangal and turn immediately. You can see this wicket, which was indeed used for the interprovincial match just a couple of weeks ago. The furthest wicket right on the square. We're into September. It's not quite a dust bowl that we'd see in the subcontinent, but certainly turned there to start with. Here in Dublin, a little bit short of this time, hit away to Naranjan Shankar at extra cover. Really experienced, a good combination of experience and youth in this Merrion side, to be fair to say.
Yeah, I was literally just about to say that. Lenny, good few younger players, but oh, that's a big shot. And also a number of players who've got a good bit of first team cricket under their belts. So you've got James Hitchcock, Hugh Kennedy and Naranjan Shankar with the experience that they will have got from playing on Merrion first team. A bit flatter this time onto the back foot. Naranjan picks up, good fielder, but not collected by John O'Hara behind the stumps.
Yeah, I feel a direct hit definitely would have been out, Isabel, and in fact even if O'Hara could have taken the ball cleanly and taken the bails off, it would have been very close.
Yeah, it wasn't the ideal throw, his head height. If he'd got it straight over the stumps, I think that would have been very close, but the distance between where the throw came in and the stumps might have meant that he would be safe. So, new batsman facing up.
Yeah, early pressure on Knockharley, there's no doubt about that, and it's advantage Merrion. Remember, Knockharley won the toss early this morning, decided to bat first. I was talking to the Merrion club coach Nicky Kenny as well. He was saying that they'd have liked to have a bowl, so it's definitely a little bit of due. And there's the second wicket to fall, the second inside 2 overs. It's a disastrous start for Knockharley. Great celebrations for the youngster Forkin. He takes a superb curtain bowled, and Knockharley are reeling at 3 for 2.
Well, it looks like he can't quite believe he's played that shot, but well bowled from young Peter Forkin. It sticks in the wicket a little bit here at this stage in the year. A lot of cricket being played, regardless of the fact that we've had a shortened season. And as a spinner, you need to take those chances.
Yeah, Rashid falls for a duck, and it is not the start that Knockharley would have wanted. They've had such an impressive season, moving up to the Tillain Cup level for the first time in quite a few years, making it all the way to the finals day after a quite sensational semi-final victory over YMCA. They ran through a YMCA side that was really fancied to go on to the final, upsetting the apple cart, but there are underdogs today, there's no doubt about it, coming in against a very strong Merrion second side.
What an opportunity for both these teams to play in front of all of the people that are no doubt watching on the live stream. So thanks to Pembroke for setting this up, and in particular Niall Walsh, Philip Byrne, Dale McDonough and Barry Tucker, and all of Pembroke Cricket Club for facilitating this great service today.
Yeah, it's kind of become the home of T20 cricket over the years. You think back to the Alan Murray Cup, which started out here down at Sydney Parade. Great innovation back in the, I think it was probably the 60s or 70s, as far back as that. And Pembroke really becoming the home of a lot of the finals at the Leinster level, a lot of Leinster Lightning games, representative matches. You think back to the Summer Smash last year, Middlesex coming over, and how that catapulted Gareth Delaney's career, seeing him have great success for Leicestershire across in the Blast. Back here, it is all Merrion. Knockharley are in all sorts of bother. Turn and grip, a really good over from the youngster Forkin, and the score now 3 for 2 at the end of 2 overs, is he?
Yeah, well, Merrion are up and about, aren't they? You can see a spring in their steps all running through. You can hear the dulcet tones of Captain Conor Austin, who's shepherded his team to the final with great enthusiasm. And he's just having a chat with his bowler Hugh Kennedy.
Talking about families who love cricket, what about the Austins? I think the word badger could be thrown about for that youngster.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's the only one really in his family who plays, I think.
But he's obsessed. He's absolutely obsessed.
Yeah, he's a club man through and through. If there's something you need done in Merrion Cricket Club and you're not sure who to go to, just check with Osta.
It seems like every club has at least one of those.
So important, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's all about the clubs this weekend. It's the grand finals weekend after what has been a very strange year for the country, but a fantastic year to get some cricket in, given all that we've been through. Driven nicely, but straight to the fielder at mid-off. Good probing stuff from Kennedy. Izzy, you're working in a women and girls development role. It's been so important to get cricket in this year, given everything we've all been through.
Yeah, it's one of those things where people aren't sure if even we've had any programs going on at Cricket Leinster or at Irish level, and actually we've got a huge amount done. We're very lucky to play in a sport that has big grounds, so we're able to get a lot of time with the youth. It's a bit quicker from Kennedy, quick single into the leg side. Daniel Forkin unable to gather that one. Yeah, so we actually have got a lot done. We got most of our programs that we had planned. Obviously we didn't travel this year, but we've started a new series with the NCU, which was really successful, seeing them progress their cricket, and we started a new camp that we did this year in Oak Hill, which was a brilliant experience for the girls, playing on grass all week in the sunshine. So I'm really pleased with how it went, especially thinking back to April when we thought, God, are we going to have anything? Are we going to be able to carry out any of our programs? But yeah, the engagement's been really good, and of course no one's on any holidays, so everyone's been arranged to actually come to the session and play the games. Yeah,
certainly a point in May where we thought we may get no cricket of any kind, and that's hit him.
Nasty.
As I said, Hugh Kennedy is an intimidating fast bowler. He comes in, he hits the deck hard, particularly his short ball's a bit deceiving. He spiced me up with that exact delivery first ball last week. And Harry Shiv Mangal freshened up. He's joined his brother at the crease, Harry and Max Shiv Mangal, who, as you said, have Merrion experience, so perhaps a little bit of few old wounds. That might be Ross Shiv Mangal, in fact, who's worn that one. Sorry, Ross is at the non-striker's end. Just working out the difference between the two brothers. Difficult with the helmets on. And follows the short ball up with a really good Yorker. Can only skew off the inside edge down to fine leg for a single. But yeah, given that cricket was the first sport that had to come back, Izzy, with all the troubles the country has been through, there must be huge credit given to Cricket Leinster, Philip Smith and all of his team, yourself, Fintan McAllister, who we'll hear from later, Brian O'Rourke. It's been a difficult year, but there's been some great progress made, as you said.
Yeah, well, I mean, on the girls' side, it's myself and Naomi mostly. We've gone out to clubs. We've just tried to do what we can. Naomi, Scott Hayward and I, and then Fintan and Brian, as you said, and a couple of other of our development officers. And that slower ball again, that's an opportunity missed, you feel, but yeah, they've gone to clubs. It's just been about adapting this season, which I think everyone in all walks of life have done, and there are lots of things that we will continue to do if and when this does ease up.
Yeah, it is indeed. Ross Shiv Mangal now on to strike, Harry at the non-striker's end. The two brothers at the crease together. You're joining us for the first of 4 live streams, the 2 today coming from Pembroke Cricket Club, and we'll get 2 from Merrion across Anglesey Road tomorrow. Worked into the leg side, going to be a quick single, even though Hugh Kennedy runs through aggressively. You can see the Merrion side really up for this. You got a different feeling walking into the ground this morning, both sides, almost a few nerves on the big cup final day.
Yeah, well, talking to the Merrion lads leading into this, it's been a really tight league. So they had their last league game, Merrion, they had to win to be in with a chance of getting to the semi-final to play against your good self, and they needed some other results to go their way, and then they obviously had the semi-final last week, so they've been under pressure for a few weeks. I think that ball going down leg side, I don't think they'll manage to get to that fielder down at fine leg, row hit. But yeah, so when you're playing under pressure for a few weeks before a final, it always, I think, means you're ready for it when it comes around in the final. Knockharley as well, they're playing up a little bit. They would usually be in a league below Merrion, so really exciting chance for them to show where they're at and whether they can put their hand up to move up the leagues in seasons to come.
Aidan Seavener signals leg by to end the third over the score now, 8-2. Yeah, it's been really interesting, the kind of imposed readjustment of the structures and the competitions this year meant that a few sides probably moved up a little bit of a grade, and quite a few of them have impressed at that level. And the likes of Knockharley, who might have been a little bit further down the divisions, maybe Division 5 or Division 6, have come up and played against the traditional Division 3 sides with great success. As I said, they might have been big underdogs going into that YMCA clash last week, but didn't just run out winners, ran out convincing winners last week at Claremont Road.
It's Peter Forkin returning from the St. John's Road end. The youngster already claiming 1 wicket, and he looks very up for this challenge. And he'll enjoy bowling on this wicket as well.
Yeah, plenty of brotherly love out there. We've got 2 Shiv Mangals at the crease and one of the 2 Forkins bowling to them. We might see the spin as well of the additional Forkin, both Daniel and Peter bowling spin, but of different variations. The off breaks here. And we see the left arm spin of the brother as well, potentially.
Yeah, very different spinners. Obviously they bowl with different hands, but Daniel's shorter and really not afraid to give it a lot of air, which I really like about the way that he bowls. He's a very brave bowler for a 15-year-old. Just slight changes in pace for Peter Forkin. He's a very, very smart bowler for his age. Only took up spin a couple of years ago. He was kind of going between seam and spin. I used to coach him myself, and we discussed what his options were, and I encouraged him to go with whatever he enjoyed more, which I think is always important if you're going to be a bowler. Oh,
powerfully driven and a really good quick call, put the pressure on. I think that's the captain there.
Connor Austin, yeah.
Connor Austin with the misfield, so they'll come back for 2. He was attacking it, looking for the run out, but good aggressive running from the brothers, the Shiv Mangal brothers. Gets Knockharley into double figures for the first time. Glorious day here at Sydney Parade, as my co-commentator Isabel Joyce even has to take the jumper off. Beautiful to have sunshine for what seems like the first time in a while is.
Absolutely, that's a full toss. That's a great shot leg side from Harry Shiv Mangal. He's hit that with the full face of his bat. That's gone all the way for the first maximum of the innings.
Yeah, not just the first maximum, is he the first boundary? He is the first 6 of the innings. A superb strike, over pitched from Peter Forkin into the hitting arc of Shiv Mangal, and he dispatches that one all the way for 6 over the rope towards the dart track here at Pembroke Cricket Club. Glorious strike, and that's going to get Knockharley underway and going. The first time we've heard the Knockharley bench get a little bit of support, a bit of vocal support going. If you're joining us perhaps from overseas, you've got to remember these games all played behind closed doors, of course, so just the teams, players and officials, and of course us here in the commentary box allowed in the ground. But delighted to be bringing you this live footage from finals day, the first of 7 finals. We're going to be bringing you 4 of them live streamed, and the first of that is this one here, the IBI Corporate Finance Tillain Cup final. We're going to have the first bowling change. We spoke about experience. How critical a man is this man going to be for Merrion?
Well, James Hitchcock is the most experienced player on the field. He plays a lot with the ones, doesn't get to do a huge amount, but really good bowling action, very consistent. Well, that's quick single to point. Jack Atkinson needed to hit. That was the hero last week, Jack Atkinson there at point, wearing the stylish flat cap or the wide brim hat. But yeah, James Hitchcock is a very consistent player. He's originally from South Africa, over here for work. And it's one of a lot of South Africans actually that are playing their cricket in Merrion at the moment. I'm sure they're all watching and supporting him on this live stream.
Yeah, and James Hitchcock was the hero really for Merrion last week with the ball, as they will get back for 2. I think that one's going to be signalled leg byes by Aidan Seaver. Really good running. And a correct signal from Aidan Seaver. Yeah, Hitchcock bowled the final over against Pembroke Seconds last week at this very ground on Sunday. So 6 days ago, Pembroke needed 12 to win, 11 for a super over. The first ball skewed for 4. The second ball hacked into the leg side by Bill Whaley for 2. And with just 5 for the tie off the final 4 deliveries, You would have thought that Pembroke would have got at least the super over, but with 2 for that super over off the final ball, it was that spectacular catch at backward point that got Merrion across the line in the most dramatic of circumstances by just 2 runs.
It shows the margins, doesn't it? Because if he misses that one, that's almost game over and for Pembroke. So, such an exciting game. Fuller delivery from James Hitchcock.
And it was that exact Yorker that Hitchcock hit so well against Bill Whaley and the Pembroke captain Joe Prendergast over the course of that final over. What is it about 2020 that seems to do that every time? The game ebbs and flows so quickly, and one over can change it.
Well, I think it's just people don't recognise the phase of the game that they're in necessarily, is a lot of the issues, so everyone knows that's a beautiful
towards
shot.
us, Izzy. That's going to soar all the way, just about clear the rope. Smash into the Kid Insurance's board. What a shot that is. The second 6 and 2 overs. Great cheers from the Knockharley bench, and some joy for the men from Meath.
Yeah, that's the second really well timed shot in 2 overs we've seen. So getting the pace of the wicket, the Shiv Mangals here. James Hitchcock won't be happy with that. I actually think that the Merrion bowlers are missing a trick. They should probably come around the wicket to these 2 batters. Very much leg side dominant. Make sure they bowl outside off.
Glorious shot again. It's going to be very nearly back-to-back 6s this time. 1 bounce 4, 2 full, and that's the problem if you're searching for the Yorkers as Hitchcock is, and you miss your length, you end up bowling it right into the slot. Back-to-back poor deliveries right into the slot. Well dispatched by Harry Shiv Mangal.
Yeah, it's a disappointing over for James Hitchcock, but a much needed one for Knockharley as they finish out their 5th over. Much better last 3 overs than their first 2. So Harry Shiv Mangal starting to get into his stride as Knockharley are 29 for 2 after 5.
Yeah, 13 runs coming from that over, Isabel. We've got 1 left in the power play now. Knockharley finally finding some joy. We're going to have the second bowling change of the innings. We're going to have the veteran. I hope we're not going to mind Naranjan calling the veteran. One of the nicest guys on the Irish club circuit, Naranjan Shankar. He not only bowls, he bats, he keeps wicket, he does it all, Naranjan.
He's not a bad fielder either. A ninja, they call him in Merrion, so that gives you an idea. He's a great guy, lovely guy to have in your team. Very supportive of the younger players, and as you said, someone who can bring a lot of different elements to the game.
Yeah, he's a real gentleman of the game, Naranjan Shankar. After I was out last week, he came over and gave me a big elbow bump as we're not allowed to shake hands anymore, just to console me. Worked into the leg side for the first delivery. Good running's going to find 2. So this is the final over where the power play restrictions will be in place. Just 2 fielders allowed outside the circle, and pretty standard fare for an off spinner with long on and deep square leg out. Yeah,
absolutely. You probably saw from that shot, that's a very good idea of the bat path of Ross Shiv Mangal. Everything goes leg side of where it should. Even that shot that he was trying to play through the covers.
Direct hit would have been close, Isabel. Sorry to cut you off. I just wonder, is that
BB Patel?
Yeah, I think that's BB there, yeah, isn't it, at short mid-wicket?
Absolutely, yeah, he'll be kicking himself. That was a gilt-edged chance for Merrion to see the back of Ross Shiv Mangal, one of the key players for this Knockharley team.
He just got caught a little bit on the back foot, didn't he? Both the fielder and the batter. So yeah, Patel couldn't affect the run out there. Flatter this time. The sweep shot comes out. Good work at short fine leg from Hugh Kennedy. Bit of a cult hero, isn't he, around Merrion? Hugh Kennedy.
I mean, that piece of fielding sums him up for me. It looked like he was skating on an ice rink there, but on his knees. But gets the job done. His huge bucket, so is a very good catcher of the ball. He's a great guy to have around the training.
Yeah, I think that's Hugh Kennedy's fan club messaging you through there on the WhatsApp group, perhaps, is he? But yeah, you can see Naranjan Shankar trying to vary his pace. He darts in quicker deliveries. This one over pitched. Powered down the ground. It seemed to favour that hitting arc. Both brothers here, that sort of long on through the deep mid wicket region.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we could zoom in on both their grips, you'll find they choke the grip at the bottom hand, so everything will go leg side, no matter how much they try and play through the offside. It's really, really difficult with that grip. So you can nearly set a field from extra cover to square leg for both of these brothers. Learn their cricket from TV.
Big appeal from Naranjan Shankar. I'm not exactly sure what he was appealing for, because pretty clearly coming off the inside edge, but that's the passion at show here today. Great intent, and at the end of the power play, we're going to have the first change in the commentary boxes. I'll bid a fond farewell for the moment, Isabel Joyce. welcome along our Cricket Leinster colleague, the Dublin City Development Officer. That's Fintan McAllister. Fintan, you'll be joining us throughout the day today. Fintan, how are you, mate?
Yeah, great, thanks, Lenny. Great to be here. Lovely day, and I have to say, Pembroke looks an absolute treat here today.
Where's this weather been all summer?
I know.
We had it in the lockdown.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got the best weather in the lockdown, and then we got a couple of bad weeks, but this is one of the best days of the summer now, so it's going to make for a great occasion.
Yeah, the emergency call for sun cream might be going out for my rather chromy dome. A lack of hair on top here, Finto. You're putting me to shame as always, as you always do with your style. Fintan, just before we get into the game here, tell us how you are. You had a shocking injury sort of halfway through August there. How's the knee?
Yeah, the knee is it's actually fine now. It's I've about another 3 weeks in a brace, and then it's a bit of rehab. But yeah, just a bit of a freak accident, but probably a bit more embarrassing than anything, getting an ambulance called out to a cricket field. But
and it was a complete sort of freak incident, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just coming down the track to play a ball off a spinner, and next thing my studs just got caught in the ground, and the knee just twisted, and that was how it went.
Yeah, it's a funny old game, cricket. You can get the most innocuous looking injuries, but we've got Fintan McAllister joining us in the commentary box. Andrew Leonard here bringing these pictures on Cup Final Day. It's the IBI Corporate Finance Tillain Cup Final. We're going to have another change in bowling. Austin not afraid to ring the changes. Biant Patel come into the attack with his rather unorthodox looking off breaks here, Fintan.
Yeah, no, I have to say, and I think fair play to the skipper here. He's made a big call after one over to change the bowling, and straight out of the power play, and I have to say, I think Merrion looked really up for it today. Yeah,
traditionally you'll see the home club here, Pembroke, bowl a lot of spin throughout their sides, first, seconds all the way through. Their first 11 built around the likes of Paul Lawson, Fiacre Tucker, JJ Garth. Is spin the way to go here usually at Sydney Parade?
Spin, yeah. I suppose a bit of both. I think the wickets are getting better here every year on year. That they're getting harder and everything like that. And Dale does a great job here, but.
Powered into the offside, it skews off the top edge. It's going to be the third wicket. Big celebrations, the bowling change works. Fintan McAllister, you called it. Patel into the attack, skews off the outside edge of Harry Shing Van Gaal, and the third wicket falls. Knockharley in trouble now.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's that's great spin. It's done the trick here. Both two lads up front as well, bowled brilliantly up front, and the third wicket down is gonna leave them in a bit of trouble.
It was floated up temptingly above the eye line, and as soon as he get it above the eye line, the fact the ball was turning away from the two left-handers, it was just too tempting. He'd already hit 2 sixes at Harry Shiv Man Gaal, but he's got to go now. He falls for 21 off 21 deliveries, and that is certainly advantage Merrion there.
Yeah, big time, and I don't mind. I like seeing a spinner who's not afraid to give it a bit of flight. Give it a bit of flight there, and caught him in a bit of a trap there.
Well, yeah, I suppose one of the things we have here, you should be able to see it on your screens at home. We're on the furthest pitch out on the square. From your pictures, as you're looking currently, the furthest to the right that they can go, and what that leads to is a really almost perfectly shaped oval here, probably 65 metre boundaries minimum all of the directions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's the boundaries are big here today. You know, it's going to be a big hit to clear them ropes. We've seen 1-6 already. But I have to say, Dale has the place looking in fantastic nick here today.
Yeah, and there's 5 fielders laid outside the circle now, and the batsman did cross, so we'll see the left-handed Shiv Man Gaal continue. That's Ross Shiv Man Gaal, who's left at the crease after the departure of his brother. Real family affair, always Irish cricket, Fintan, isn't it?
Oh, of course, yeah. So many families around the game in Leinster, and we've got quite a few on show here today.
Just outside the off stump, gets through. Really good tight stuff this. He's on the cusp of a wicket maiden. What a bowling change, Fintan.
Yeah, big time. It just looks to be skidding on here a bit.
In fact, that one's going to be signalled wide. Apologies by umpire Aidan Seavers. So the perfect over is a little bit ruined. That one, as you say, just skidding on with the arm. Poor delivery, dragged down this time, but protection out there. You see that more and more often. Even at the top levels of the game, you look at Adil Rashid, the way he's bowling for England in the T20s, bowls some absolute jaffas, but when he bowls the poor balls, he's got the protection out.
Yeah, big time. I think a good call by the skipper here to get us 5 men back and just protect those boundaries. You know, if they can keep them boundary free for a while, that could bring more wickets into the game here.
In In fact, that last delivery was a leg break, Fintan. Just watching back on the replay there, it's difficult to tell sometimes at our angle. So, a good mixed bag of tricks from Beant Bathal, throwing in a little bit of variation as well.
Yeah, exactly. Don't mind keeping the batsman guessing here.
Yeah, so Naranjan Shankar to continue. So the new man into the crease is Inga Mells, and still no strike for him. He's at the non-striker's end. Oh, Shiv Mangal cleverly counting his balls, keeping the strike. He's going to have to anchor this innings the whole way through now. Joe Inga Mells in at number 5 for Knockharley. Fintan, tell us a little bit about your role with Dublin City and Cricket Leinster.
Yeah, so during lockdown, I suppose we were just probably quieting down. We were just doing a bit of online videos and things like that. Oh, there's another wicket.
Just have to cut you off there, Fintan, because the 4th wicket falls. This time it goes to Naranjan Shankar, and the Shiv Mangal brothers are gone. The pair of them now, and that is really advantage Merrion, looking for that favoured slog sweep, and he's ended up being castled.
Yeah, I think Knockharley are in a bit of trouble here now. Merrion, they seem really up for it. There's a great buzz going around the field there, and 4 down. It's going to be hard to come back from this here.
Yeah, that's the replay just you've seen on your screen there. It just skidded on, as you've said, with the arm, looked for the slog sweep, and ends up castling leg stump. So real trouble for Knockharley. They fall to 37 for 4. But they've had a superb season, Knockharley, as I was just talking about with Izzy, playing probably a little bit above their grade that they would have been at in previous seasons, stepping up to the Tillain Cup level and really making a great fist of it.
Yeah, and it's absolutely brilliant to see. You know, they're coming a long way. They're getting better every year, and gaining more members and everything like that every year. So it's brilliant to see.
Yeah, beautiful ground there up in County Meath, one of 2 clubs in the County Meath region, and the gospel is sort of spreading outside of just the traditional Dublin and Pale clubs quite well. There's clubs in I think every province now in Leinster.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's what you really want to see. You know, just that it's not just in Dublin, and yeah, no, fair play to Knockharley here getting through to the final. It's great to see.
Yeah, we've got a great spread of clubs across all 7 finals over finals weekend. That one floated up temptingly. Great enthusiasm from Naranjan Shankar. I described him as a veteran. He's going to be given out to me tomorrow when he watches back on these highlights. He is a veteran at this stage of his career, but living every ball out there, really good to see.
Yeah, plenty of experience.
Look at that enthusiasm, threw off his own bowling. Wants to be involved every ball. He had a run-out opportunity early on, and I think it was the 3rd over the innings. And he was disgusted with himself as he couldn't quite affect the run-out. The throw just coming a little bit too high to the keeper O'Brien. Good tight stuff this, and it looks like a day that spin is going to play a real leading hand, Fintan.
Yeah, big time here. I really like this here now. He's mixing up his pace. He's keeping the batsmen ticking. They can't really take too many risks, and he's doing a brilliant job here for Merrion.
Yeah, good tight stuff from the spinners. This one looped up temptingly. Not too often you see a leave outside off stump in a T20, Fintan.
And yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, but I think that's probably the situation that they're in a bit at the moment. I think it's really important. I think for Knockharley now that they do keep on taking the singles around and knocking it around and picking up their ones, you know, and then maybe coming back in the latter stages to try and go hard at it.
Yeah, period of consolidation needed. Jack Condiet is in at number 6 for Knockharley, and the runs are not flowing right now for the men from Meath, as Aidan Seaver gets us into a little bit of active shape, jogging down towards the scorers. Just going to try an earwig as to what he's saying. He's just worried about one of the fielders off the sideline who's in his white, making it a bit confusing for him. He might have been thinking it was 12 fielders on the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe 6 outside the boundary there now.
Yeah, we had an interesting scenario in the semi-final of this very competition I was playing in last week, Fintan, where the standing umpires gave at least 1 if not 2 warnings to the Merrion batsman for running straight down the wicket, and in fact in the 19th over of the game they walked over to the scorers just like Aidan Seaver did there, and they said that's 5 penalty runs. We've given them their warnings, and those 5 penalty runs then went on to the start of Pembroke's innings. So play such an important role. The umpires that nearly ended up being critical for Merrion in the semi-final last week.
Yeah, and I think we've got two brilliant umpires here who've really made their way in Leinster, and they're doing a fantastic job here.
Yeah, Aidan Seaver standing alongside his colleague Bala Kalash, who's at square leg at the moment. Two of the best umpires going around the circuit.
Yeah, both of them now have plenty of experience in senior cricket umpiring, so
big enthusiasm from Ingham Ells. Looked to be punched down the ground just for a single, but he wanted two. Fintan, push him was the shout. That's the intensity being brought by the Knockharley men already.
Well, that's it. You have to keep the fielders on their toes.
Yeah, certainly enthusiasm in spades from both sides as skipper Austin doing the fielding down at long off. Plenty of bowling options, Austin. We might see his own left armers later on. Got the likes of the second Forkin, who might bowl some left arm spin as well. So full deck of cards for Merrion. Really strong club, Merrion, right the way through the grades.
Yeah, they really are, with a very strong youth as well. You've got, you've Celeste Rack up there who's doing great things with the youth side of things up there in Merrion, and yeah, we've a few on show here today. You've got young Daniel Forkin as well with his left arm spin.
Yeah, that one just kept a bit lower. That's the leg break. That's the variation hammered into the leg side. It's a real noticeable change of action. Not a traditional leg break, but turn there on show. Well picked up by Condi to get him off the mark into the leg side.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they're feeling I have to say they're feeling very well here today. They're keeping to their singles. So there's not too many misfields going around, and they've done a great job here on the field so far. And
yeah, an early start. Fintan, 10:45 a.m. local time this morning, and the reason for that, it's the first of two finals that we're going to be bringing you. And later on, we're going to be seeing the first 11 sides battle it out, and rather uniquely, we'll have a change of setup as well, because we're seeing the whites with the red ball, which is all the competitions from Tillain Cup down. But as we go up to the first 11 level, we'll see the coloured kit and the white ball used later on.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's making for a great occasion here today as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to later two great sides in the final. Railway and YM. It's going to be quite a battle, and really looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, the rejuvenation of the Park Avenue side Railway Union. We're going to see the big man Kevin O'Brien on show later on as well, but it's slightly surreal altogether. Nobody allowed in traditionally on Cup Finals Day. Even down the grades you have good crowds coming in, but those crowds not allowed due to the government regulations at the moment. Everything behind closed doors. We're delighted to be bringing you these live pictures. Andrew Leonard here alongside Fintan McAllister, former Irish international Fintan McAllister. Does that feel like a lifetime ago now, Fintan?
Yeah, it's a while ago now, alright. Yeah, trying to think now, probably coming up close to probably about 10 years ago was the last game.
The development in Irish cricket over that period has just been immense though, isn't it?
Oh, unbelievable. There's just, the amount of young lads coming through now. I think when we used to play, there used to be probably, you'd be picking between 15 players to
you'd know all the lads.
You'd know everyone, yeah, and just the stage we're at now, the talent coming through, and the youth setups that are in club cricket it's unbelievable. And
yeah, Leinster's been kind of leading the way in that. The Lightning in particular, with the rebirth of the interprovincial stuff. You played a little bit in the early years of that, but they've been absolutely dominant throughout it.
Yeah, dominant. Yeah, we've had a great crop coming through there, and yeah, played in the first couple of years of that, and it's just that tournament is just kicking on every year, and Leinster actually just seem to be getting better and better and stronger every year.
Yeah, the run's not continuing to flow here for Knockharley though, as that one was swept into the leg side, and it's difficult at this stage of the innings. Your 4 wickets down, fielders out everywhere. They've got to just try and rotate the strike, start getting some singles going, Fintan.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's really important for Knockharley here to just look and get their singles, just push it into a couple of gaps. The boundaries will come, because bowlers will get frustrated if you're taking your runs. And
again, big enthusiastic calling from Ingham Ells. He wants his stint in the commentary box over with us. You can probably hear it in the background. Push him is the shout. As the end, the 10th over. We get to the halfway stage of this first innings of finals day. You are watching the IBI Corporate Finance Tillain Cup Final live from South County Dublin, We're at the beautiful Sydney Parade. The sun is shining. Couldn't be set up better for a climax to the season. Knockharley won the toss, decided to have a bat first, but they are struggling at the halfway stage. Fintan, it's 41 for 4.
Yeah, no, I have to say, first half of this game is going to Merrion at the moment. You know, and Knockharley, as you said, won the toss. I think it was probably would have batted first. You always want to get runs on the board in a final. But Merrion have bowled. They've been full of life here today. Their fielding has been excellent. Their bowling has been brilliant. They're right on top here at the moment, and I think it's important that they keep that going here.
Yeah, and probably the two most experienced bowlers they have are the bowlers that bowling in tandem at the moment. Biyant Bethal alongside Niranjan Shankar. We'll see BB, as he's known, who's bowling here. We'll see him open the batting probably as well. But the young Merrion second skipper, Conor Austin, really doing his job brilliantly. And just as I say that, BB finds another straight through, takes out off stump. That's the end of Condi. A short stay at the crease for him. He's gone for 2. Merrion all over Knockharley now.
Yeah, and spin is working a treat here for Merrion. I have to say, it's picking up. But the spinners are mixing up their pace beautifully here, and the wickets just seem to be falling.
Yeah, just going to try and bring you the replay there, but it kept a little bit low, Fintan. We're just having a look on our screen in front of us. Not a huge amount to turn. It's actually ended up being beaten on the outside of the bat, which isn't something you see too often. You usually see an off spinner beat the right hander on the inside of the bat, but this one just skidding on a bit, maybe keeping a fraction low.
Yeah, it kept the fraction, and as I said, the spinners have been mixing their pace up well. It's probably hard for the batsman to kind of judge what's coming, and yeah, beating on the outside of the bat there.
Yeah, look to me, Fintan, perhaps just playing a little bit down the wrong line. Jack Condi on the back foot. Always say try and get forward to a spinner. And you can see the role that spin is going to play today is going to be a huge one. There's no doubt about that. Merrion right on top. The skipper Conor Austin must be delighted with the way he's marshalling his troops at the moment. Every single decision he's making seems to be turning to gold.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, and as... There we are, nice job. Yeah, as you said, yeah, making all the right calls here, and going with spin seems to be the way to go, and they still have another couple of spinners in the locker as well, which is going to be tough for Knockharley.
Yeah, good flight again from Batal. Just worked into the leg side, and the new batsman wants 2, and they'll just about get through for it. Thought for a moment we're going to have a mix-up. We'll end up seeing those signalled as leg byes, so Rashid won't get off the strike, won't get off the mark just yet, but 2 more runs to the total.
Yeah, Knockharley probably going to have to play some really smart cricket here now to try and get back in this game.
Hacked into the leg side. That's going to be the first boundary in a long time. Really powerfully put away by Tahir Rashid. That's a good shot to get his innings underway. How do you approach an innings at this stage? You're in all sorts of trouble. You're 5 wickets down. Still 10 overs to go. What are you trying to target, Fintan?
I suppose you just have to. You're nearly looking to take it over by over. A welcome boundary for Knockharley there, but I think it's really important that'll take a few nerves away. It's got him off the mark as well. So I think the important thing again for Knockharley is that they just keep ticking it over.
Yeah, and indeed that's what Rashid has done. Immediately started with 2 leg byes, follows up dispatching a short ball and plays that one pleasingly into the offside to bring the 50 up. There's plenty of time to get back in this game for Knockharley. You know what they say about runs on the board in a cup final, Fintan. Doesn't matter what total they get to, Merrion are going to have to chase that down. There'll be pressure on them in the chase.
Yeah, of course, and the next 9 overs are going to tell a lot here. If Knockharley hadn't lost probably as many wickets as they have, they'd actually wouldn't be in the worst position. They could probably kick on a bit, but unfortunately they don't have that luxury, so they really have to try and just play smart, sensible cricket and keep going from there and see what kind of total they can post. But as you said, it runs on the board on a final. It doesn't matter what you get.
Yeah, just getting some messages through there on the live stream. One coming from Paul Reynolds, the Cricket Leinster secretary. Really good stat. Merrion seconds have only had 3 run chases in T20 cricket away from Anglesey Road in the last 10 years. They've lost the last 2. And their last successful chase was at this ground back in 2011. So I'm not sure they'll know that, as that one's hammered into the deep for what's going to be a couple. Good piece of work in the deep there from James Hitchcock.
Yeah,
But yeah, runs on the board in a cup final, often very difficult to chase down.
Yeah, I think I think if you win the toss in a final, most teams usually will bat first. You know, it can be a nervy old thing coming in if you're chasing and you're looking at sixes or sevens, kind of chase down that total.
Yeah, so the spin is continuing, but not Naranjan Shankar anymore. Back to the off breaks of Peter Forkin. Surprised perhaps not to see his brother just yet, Daniel Forkin. We might see him later on with his left arm spin as well. In fact, he's warming up right now, reading the mind of the skipper.
Good to see. I know the Forkins really well now, I have to say, and I tell you, you won't meet a happier kid around Leinster cricket than young Daniel Forkin. Loves his cricket. I think the two, and his brother Peter, they're down in the nets every day in Merrion. And yeah, no, they always go around with a smile on their face, and
yeah, that's what the game is all about, enjoying your cricket. Big slog sweep attempt, just skidding on with the angle through to the keeper. No connection, and yeah, after the summer and the year that we've had for the country, to get some cricket in and just a little bit of sense of normality. I know it's all been 20 over stuff, but huge credit has to be given to the authorities in the way that they handle with it. The first sport back in, the first back active, everything's gone really well.
yeah, I think so. And I think we've actually been, with the way the weather has been, I think the T20 actually has really suited this year, because I think we would have, if we did play 50 overs, I think we really would have struggled to get a lot of games in.
Yeah, I think given how poor the weather has been at points, they've done exceptionally well to get so many of the matches in. Very few washouts, a few. We've obviously had Duckworth Lewis Stern come into play. Short ball, dragged down, just going to wait for the signal. I wonder, did that thud into the pad perhaps? Certainly time for a couple as young Daniel Forkin, the brother of the bowler, does the field. He has to run around. Going to be leg buys, maybe thudded into the thigh pad of the hip.
Yeah. But yeah, no, as you said, yeah, there's been there hasn't been many washouts now. I think, well, especially I know in our league in Malahide, I think there was only one game called off in the whole league and all the fixtures, and yeah, it's been great to get the cricket in, and probably playing on one of the best days of the year here in a final as well.
Well, it's teasing you, Fintan. You want to keep playing. We don't want to stop now in mid-September. Can we not keep going? Get on into October.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could go for a few more games there, all right.
Tell us a little bit, as we see a change in bowling with young Daniel Forkin coming into the attack. As we said, we'll see his left arm spin. Talented young bowler. Tell us a bit about your role now, sort of September, October. How does it work with the COVID regulations? Will you be able to get back into the schools for some of your school programs?
Yeah, most of the schools now have been in touch already, so we're looking to get back. It's probably going to be under different circumstances. I think it's going to be smaller groups and probably a bit more spread out, and of course, it'll all be outdoors. So, but schools have been in touch. We obviously have we've got our winter Friday nights coming up as well. That Brian O'Rourke has run over probably the last 20 years, and they're coming up now October right through to, they go all the way into next year into April, and still looking to go ahead with them. So it'll be we've got one man here who'll be coming up to a couple of those Friday nights.
Yeah, that's the Leinster Youth Elite Sessions up at the indoor centre there in North County Cricket Club, and what a legacy they've had for not just Leinster cricket but Irish cricket. You think of the players who've come through those sessions and those youth structures that Brian O'Rourke and Cricket Leinster have had in place for a long time now. It's a real legacy of talented cricketers. Big appeal, hits the back pad, probably just drifting down.
Yeah, no, I really like this from Daniel Forkin here now. He's again, another bowler who likes to mix up his pace a bit. He's not afraid for the young man as well. He's not afraid to give it a bit of air, and
what a catch! He does it off his own bowling, the second caught and bowled we've seen, but that's the catch of the day, the catch of the final so far. Outstanding from the youngster Daniel Forkin. It was powered back towards his left. It's his stronger hand and he clings on.
It's a fantastic catch by the young man, and what a celebration as well. Brilliant to see.
Absolutely outstanding. We're just going to bring you the replay of that. It was powered back really strongly to his left by Tahir Rashid, and Daniel Forkin clings on to a classic catch.
Brilliant young man, he's delighted with that. I guarantee he won't wipe the smile off his face now. I already said he's one of the happiest men in Leinster cricket. I can guarantee you now. That smile will be going on for the day.
Is he the kind to be talking you through that catch now later on, Fintan, as well?
I like all spinners, like, you know yourself, like all spinners.
We've so many bad days with spinners, you've got to take the good days as well. But I'm just seeing a replay on my screen. It was full length to his left. Brilliant camera work by the team here. He clung on literally at full stretch, and it probably just nestled in the tips of his left hand. But a great catch to get our finals day going. Remember, we've got 14 teams battling it out for the 7 Cricket Leinster trophies that are being played for this year in the open competitions. And of course he's called them open competitions because you've got the official name of them, men's and women's, women both playing in these open competitions this year. But a really good standard of cricket as well that I've seen throughout the grounds at the moment.
I tell you, I have to say, I love this from the young man here. He's just called the captain in. He's asked him to bring in a slip. You know, 15 years old. You don't mind seeing that in senior cricket.
The enthusiasm of youth, he ends up dragging it down, punched into the offside, but really good work from Hugh Kennedy. Out of deep cover, keeps it to a single, so a wicket and a solitary run coming from the 13th over. And we're going to get Knockharley up to 57 for 6. So yeah, we'll just have one more over before we welcome Isabel Joyce back into the commentary box. But Knockharley just really have to try and target getting up to 3 figures here somehow. Could they defend 100 perhaps, Fintan?
As you say, runs on the board in the final. If they get a couple of wickets early in the second innings, you do never know. But at the moment it looks all Merrion. But these again, it's just really important that they just if they're not as little dots as possible, I suppose here for Knockharley is going to be key.
Yeah, it's Usman Ishak in at number 8 for Knockharley. He got off the mark off his first ball from young Daniel Forkin, and he gets another single, this time off Peter Forkin. The brothers bowling in tandem now, and must be a very proud family watching on at home. The Forkin parents, hello to you watching on from your stream at home. Why is Irish cricket so heavily based around families? You probably see it more so than in any other country perhaps.
Yeah, I'm not sure quite what the reason is. I think, you know, the families who are involved in cricket, they love cricket, you know, and it's a great day out for a family, you know, at a cricket game. And
you think of someone like our co-commentator Isabel Joyce. You think of sort of 5 brothers and 2 sisters certainly 4 brothers who played for Ireland. 2, herself Isabel and her twin sister Cecilia both playing for Ireland. The mother's still doing the scorebook. You know, it's just such a family affair, isn't it, altogether?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, and I was only asking, is he there? I think it's 19 grandchildren that's in the family. So I think there could be a good crop coming through Merrion in a few years.
Yeah, we're all waiting to see Joyce's 2 youngsters, and Dom, of course, they'll be taking the field shortly for Merrion. And great legacy of Irish cricket, the Joyce family. There's a brilliant article, I think, written on ESPN Cricinfo about them, what they've given to the sport here in Ireland. That one's paired into the leg side with a sweep shot for protection out there, straight to James Hitchcock, who does the fielding. Just the one over so far for Hitchcock. A little bit of a surprise for you, or is that just showing how important spin is going to be today?
Yeah, I think probably the first over didn't go the way he wanted it, and the spin has just really been doing the key here, doing the trick. So why not go for it? The one over from Hitchcock costing 11 from the bat, 13 altogether with a couple of leg buys. The most expensive over of the innings, and Knockharley are going to need a couple more of those double figure overs to propel them up towards 3 figures. And it's such a difficult time for batting. Do you stick or do you twist? 5 men on the rope, big boundaries in play. And it has to be said, the bowler's bowling really well, Fintan. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think when you look at how well the bowlers are bowling, you know, the boundaries are big. You've got all the fielders out there as a batsman. You're probably looking and going, it's going to be hard to clear these ropes there. And the way the bowlers are bowling, they're just putting it on the spot. They're dotting the Knockharley batters up and doing the trick. Yeah, and at the end of 14 overs, Fintan, Knockharley now moved to 60 for 6, and we'll have another change in the commentary box. I'll leave you for the moment. I'll pass you over to Isabel Joyce, who will stay with Fintan McAllister.
Thank you, Andrew Leonard. Doing a fantastic job as always. As Daniel Forkin returns for his second over. Bowled a good first one. You must have been pleased to see that, Fintan.
Yeah, no, as I said, I know Daniel quite well. He comes to all the winter nets on Friday nights, and yeah, he'd be delighted with that. That'll give him massive bit of confidence. But the way, as I said earlier, the way he's brought that the slip in there, confidence doesn't seem to be an issue anyway. So it's on another.
Great bowling there from Daniel Forkin. He's just slowed that one up. Got a little bit of dip in drift, a little bit of turn, brought the batsman into the shot, played across the line and bowled. What a wicket for the young man. And he does love it. You just love to see that celebration from a young player coming through. Another proud coach beside me here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, he's doing the trick here now. What a start for the young man. And Daniel, yeah, he does turn the ball there, and that one certainly seemed to have tricked the batsman there.
For such a young bowler, he's got a great understanding of how to work out a batsman, doesn't he? He's not afraid to kind of throw the ball up and see what happens against guys that are much stronger than him, a small bowler himself.
Yeah, I was just saying that to Lenny earlier. You know, he's not afraid to give it a bit of flight. Makes sure it turns. He's a quicker one in there, and yeah, and the celebrations are the best thing going here now, I have to say.
Well, it was disappointment for him last week a little bit because he only bowled the one over, and you know, he's a good batsman, but he's still quite young and small, so he wouldn't be batting up the order in T20 yet. So he'll be delighted to get a good opportunity to take a few wickets in a final.
Yeah, nothing better than that now for a young man getting a few wickets in a final.
It's a great way of getting into men's cricket, isn't it, for a youngster, being able to bowl and bat. You usually kind of stay down the order with the bat because not strong enough, but it's skipper down here at long off, not afraid to throw the ball to the young man.
Yeah, he's given the young man a good chance here, and what a job he's doing.
Flatter delivery. It's well fielded at backward point by Jack Atkinson. And Knockharley in a little bit of trouble here at 60 for 7 after 14 and a half overs. So lots of work for them to do in their last 5. Bit of style about that fielding at backward point, and
yeah,
not sure the roll was needed, but what do you reckon? You always get one in?
Yeah, you have to get it in for the cameras there now. It was nice and theatrical, all right, though.
I'm never sure if the ball's past you and you're rolling, whether you were doing the right thing, but sure, we'll give it to him.
Well, if you miss the ball when you roll, you can get away with it then.
Good work from behind the stones from John O'Hara.
Yeah, John. Yeah, John.
Energetic.
Very good there. He was quick out of the blocks there, and he's having a good day behind the stumps.
Yeah, he's a very, very hard worker, John O'Hara. Puts a lot of time into his cricket. Has a bowling machine at home, so you know, he's a lucky guy in that respect. I'm sure he was doing lots of training over lockdown. So yeah, he's one of the lucky ones, I suppose. He had something to do while we were all stuck at home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's 15 gone. Knockharley just the one from that over, 61 for 7. So what do you reckon if you were in the sheds now for Knockharley, 3 wickets to your name? What are you telling the lads to do? What are the tactics for the last 5, Fenton?
Well, I think it's a final as well. You know, they still have to. They've got 30 balls left here. Yeah, 30 balls left here. They have to keep ticking over. They still have to look for their ones, and maybe a boundary or 2 and over will come. But as I said, look, runs on the board in a final. It's
so a full toss from Bibi Patel, but only goes for the single. That's Max Shiv Mangal who's come in. His brothers were in earlier. Harry Shiv Mangal started looking good earlier on in the innings. He had a few maximums, a few boundaries, but unfortunately he wasn't able to stay at the crease for long enough to make a real impact on the game. He's the top scorer for Knockharley with 21.
20, yeah. He had a couple of lovely shots earlier on. He looked, he actually looked like he was changing the tide a bit there.
That's going to fall in a gap. Just looking for 2. Max Shiv Mangal sent back by his senior partner marking Ingemels.
Yeah, good call there. They've been quite good on the field, I have to say, Merrion. You know, the boundary riders.
A few tall men out there on the leg side. Dragged down. that one's hit better, but Naranjan Shankar comes around. He'll probably keep this one to 1. Decided not to go for the chance there. Keep the runs down rather than go for a chance, but I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have got there. What do you reckon, Fintan? If you'd been down there, maybe?
No, I don't know about myself now. No, I think there might have been 2 bounces before I picked it up anyway. So
That's slowed down by Bibi Patel. Got off his own bowling. He's only played. This is only his 4th game of the season because he does actually live in Kildare, so he wasn't able to play kind of the middle part for the 2s. It's a big loss. Top order batter, canny kind of spinner. I'm not sure you can really say he spins a lot, but puts it in the right areas.
yeah, well, and sometimes in T20 that's not the worst thing. Is just starting it in and trying to contain. Yeah, he's done a good job here.
No, he's one of those batsmen that knows where batsmen don't want the ball to be bowled, if you know what I mean, rather than being, having all the tricks. So he's quite a handy one to have in your team, and always throw the ball to him. And we have Hugh Kennedy. He'll be returning for his 3rd over. So the tall man, let's see what he can get out of the wicket and the ball at this late stage.
Yeah, Hugh back on. I have to say, you probably have to give a lot of credit to the opening bowlers. That the power play is key in T20, and himself and Peter Forkin, both in the power play, really kept the runs down, and that could have been a different story if Knockharley got off to a good start.
Yeah,
you could be looking at a different situation,
Yeah, he's really turning into a senior bowler, Hugh. He's obviously plays a lot for Merrion ones as well, especially this season. He's a man that likes to go to festivals and goes on a lot of holidays, but this year he wasn't able to do that, so he's played a good bit of cricket on the money straight away. Chance for the wicketkeeper, but unable to collect. So I think we can see what the plan is now for Knockharley. Lots of good running between the wickets. I think it's a good one because it's a difficult wicket to score on early when you come in. So Max Shevmangal only been in for an over or so, and Mark Ingemel's in for 2 or 3 overs. So just what you were suggesting, Fintan, run well between the wickets and then hope for 1 or 2 bad balls that you can put to the boundary and see if you can get your team up to a good total.
Yeah, exactly. If they can kind of get their boundary to and over here to the end, while keeping it over with the singles now, obviously a lot easier said than done when you're 7 down. But
a little bit of pace there from Hugh Kennedy. I'm sure we'll see the slower ball being used this over as well. He's used that to good effect over this short season.
yeah, he was bowling sharp there at the start. He was getting his Yorkers in. He has a short ball in him as well. So, and as you said, the slower ball there is he as well.
Straight across the line, Hugh Kennedy asked the question, but umpire Aidan Seaver is not moved. I reckon that might have been one of those appeals where you're just trying to stop the batsman from running. What do you think?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a bit of an appeal in vain, I suppose. Didn't hear much from the keeper there.
No, he wasn't too interested. John O'Hara behind the stumps, but maybe that's his youth. He's not quite got the nous to maybe appeal for the same kind of reason that Hugh would have there. So good start for his second spell, Hugh Kennedy. Merrion will be looking to keep taking wickets. Best way to keep the runs down, Fintan. That's fuller delivery. Bibi Patel comes around and it's a drop. They come back for 2 and the batsman seems to find that very, very funny. But he survives.
Yeah,
an unusual reaction, Fintan.
I haven't seen that reaction now in a while from a batsman anyway, but yeah, a rare slip up from Merrion, I suppose, in the field. But,
yeah, he didn't quite get his hands up to that, and
I think
umpire Aidan Seaver looking for the ball from the skipper Conor Austin there. Just a bit of a confab between the umpires. Not sure what this is about.
yeah, just seeing as the ball went up now, I think it was probably after it went down, there seemed to be quite a hysterical laugh going on from the batsman.
Yeah,
so
I don't think he was interfering with the field, but the umpires are going over to speak to Mark Ingemel's. You know, they're just having a quick word saying that's not appropriate, maybe. But I don't think it was him trying to interfere, Fintan.
No, I don't. I think it probably came more after the catch went down. But
Yeah, he just couldn't believe his luck. It's the first bit of luck they've probably had all day. Merrion have been very good in the field. They've taken their chances. They've bowled well. So Marking Mills will just see if he can make Merrion pay for that missed opportunity.
yeah,
That's a very sharp wide from Hugh Kennedy there. He's not too happy with the previous delivery. And how often do we see that? A chance goes down, the next ball is not your best.
yeah, probably a bit of maybe bowler frustration there. Just chance goes down, and you try and give it everything for the next ball, and the umpires coming together here.
Well, a bit of a confab between the umpires again, and it's not clear what it's about, but
Yeah, and I see Conor Austin here doing a good job. A skipper just going up to his bowler, probably telling. Seems to be something obviously going on out there in the middle, but Conor Austin comes up to his bowler, probably just telling him just to take it easy, try not to get involved, and just relax.
so the umpire is just explaining to Marking Mills that he's suffered a level 1 offence for shouting when that chance was, in the when that kind of ball was in the throws. So the umpires just need to make the batsman aware that he is on a warning. I think is what's being communicated out to the middle by the two umpires. So after all of that excitement, Hugh Kennedy bowls another wide. So it's difficult sometimes as a bowler. You get into your stride, you feel like you've got a rhythm, and then something like that happens and you can't quite focus again. What would you, as a very experienced captain, Fintan, be doing in this instance?
Well, I think young Conor Austin there actually did a really good thing there. It was the ball before, and obviously that one went for a wide as well. But he came up to the bowler. Obviously, bowler was getting a bit probably aggravated by what was happening. Just came up and had a quiet word in his ear, and
better delivery from Hugh Kennedy, full. This one hitting the batsman on the pad. But sometimes I think it's difficult for a young captain. Like, he's doing the right things, but as a senior bowler, youngster coming up and talking to you, maybe one of the other senior players might be better positioned. There's nothing Conor can do about that. Obviously, he is who he is. He's a youngster in the team, but doing the right things. But maybe James Hitchcock, or obviously not BB because he put the chance down, might have gone over and spoken to Hugh. And again, on the money, Hugh Kennedy shy at the stumps. No, he's decided to hold on. Good decision there, I think, from Kennedy. It was a single all the way, no fielder in there to save the single. That brings about a rather long 17th over, Fintan. So 3 overs to go.
Yeah, it certainly was. Hugh came back well there with the last part of that over. Coming into last 3 overs now.
Yeah, so still spin for Merrion, which isn't a surprise. It's been the most successful type of bowling on this wicket today. Lots and lots of options for Conor Austin. He's bowled out Peter Forkin as opening bowler, but he's plenty of other spin options to turn to.
Yeah, and we were just saying earlier, spin seems to have been doing the trick here today. They've just been putting it on the spot and letting probably the batsmen get themselves out a bit, but
absolutely not a lot of pace in the wicket, so batsmen having to generate all the pace themselves. It's a big boundary to all sides here today, so lower order batsmen clearing the ropes, it's quite a big ask laid on. There's a fielder in short on the leg side, James Hitchcock, and BB Batal on extra cover, making sure that the singles are kept to a minimum. So real in-out field, which I think is a good way to go for Merrion, as Knockharley try and push on in the last 3 overs.
Yeah, they've all their boundary riders out here, and
big shot. That's
one.
very well hit by Marking Mills. That's gone all the way. That's his first maximum, 6 runs to Knockharley, and that gets a great cheer from down at the team's bench.
Yeah, fantastic shot there. Well cleared the ropes, and a welcome boundary for Knockharley.
The sweep shot has not been a friend of Knockharley today. It's probably the first successful sweep shot we've seen. More drama as the batsman runs off. We're not quite sure why, but needs to get another piece of equipment, perhaps. Change his gloves. Out and get a drink.
Yeah, and we've got a couple of lads just looking for that ball up there in the bushes now, and see how we go.
Has got another ball that they can use, so he wants to keep the game moving, I know. If you're just joining us from overseas or anywhere around the country, we're here in Sydney Parade in South Dublin for the IBI Corporate Finance Tillain Cup final between Merrion Cricket Club and Knockharley Cricket Club, and it's been all Merrion up until now, really. You'd have to say they're well in the ascendancy, but Knockharley looking for a late flourish to see if they can perhaps get up to 100. Big ask, but a maximum from Mark Mills will help that attempt to get a score on the board in a final. And you do never know, Fintan, in a final, if you do get a score on the board, whether the other team will just capitulate.
Yeah, exactly, and I think a few more shots like that now will really help their cause. I think a big milestone for them will be getting the 100 up on the board. It'll be a bit of a confidence boost for them, and they might feel in a final. You never know. You get a couple of early ones, and you have something to bowl at there, and yeah, they will need a few more of those big ones, don't?
Now, well, how costly will the chance that went down last over be? Hugh Kennedy thought he had his man, and the chance went down. 2 runs came from it as well, which adds insult to injury, and it was followed by a couple of wides. So it's been a little bit shaky for Merrion for the last 10 minutes or so. Can Niranjan Shankar come back after that and claim another wicket?
Yeah, I think it's really important now that they've actually just stick to what they have been doing in the first 15 overs. Stick to what they have been doing, and which is looking to just bowl dots.
Dragged down. That one's pulled leg side again. Mills calls for his partner to run hard. It's a good throw or bad throw from James Hitchcock, who actually, it's a long boundary there, so surprisingly threw over the wicketkeeper, but just a little bit of panic maybe setting in for Merrion.
Yeah, he gave out the hand of apology there just to the keeper. Could have been quite close actually with a throw over the stumps.
Another flatter delivery, this one down the ground. Peter Forkin settles himself underneath it and takes a good catch. He has enjoyed that. The Merrion team are very, very happy with that after a chance went down last over, so that's Mark Mills is going to have to go.
Yeah, probably just might have stopped the late flurry of runs there from the man, but plenty of celebrations. I have to say Merrion have been enthusiastic all day. Celebrating has been fantastic.
Yeah, well, they haven't won a lot of trophies in recent years. Merrion seconds. They've always got a good blend of youth and experience, but sometimes the second team, if they're kind of feeding into the first, they don't necessarily always have a settled team, or they can't get a good run at the season. But this team this year, marshalled by Conor Austin, has really enjoyed their cricket, and I think that's what's kind of got them to the final.
Yeah, they've if they've stuck together all year, I know as a first team captain, you might have to take a player or two off the second team, and it can disrupt their team. The second team captain is always someone that the first team captain a few pints to the second team captain. I have to say, that's for sure. At the end of the season.
So true. Mark Mills goes for a well-made 20 there. He caught up very well. He was on 7 off 14 and made his 20 off 23, so a few runs laid on. But unfortunately, he's been dismissed by Niranjan Shankar. A good catch after a couple of chances put down. Slows up that delivery. Just the single out to cover. So Max Shiv Mangal has seen his 2 brothers do reasonably well early on. He'll be growing into his innings. He's.
What do you reckon? Do you reckon they can get to the 100 mark?
The wicketkeeper decides not to take the bails. That's rather perplexing, Fintan, as a wicketkeeper yourself. You think if you can't see the batsman, you just always take the bails?
It's just look at the bails. Yeah, it looked like it could have been out if he had to whip the bails off there, but lucky for the batsman, he's still in there.
There's been a few surprising elements to the game the last few hours, just keeping it interesting, Merrion. But yeah, I think 100 could be a tall order. And here we have the Knockharley batting card. That's not great reading if you're a Knockharley fan, unfortunately. You know, at the top of the order, the two Shiv Mangals. The pace early on from Hugh Kennedy. He's returning for his 4th over now. So this is the bowling card for Merrion. Good reading if you're a Merrion fan. Wickets all around. A couple for Hugh Kennedy, Peter Forkin bowled well, and of course, so did Naranjan Shankar. It's a final over for Hugh Kennedy. And another wide, unfortunately for him. He claps his hands in frustration. He was really on the money early on, but lost it a tiny bit towards the end, Fintan.
Yeah, probably. I think it's obviously started off very well, and Merrion have actually been really good with their extras. They haven't actually bowled that many. It's actually only in the last 3 overs, just a couple of extras have crept in.
Yeah, it just shows, and you put a bit of pressure on as a batting team, you can sometimes elicit mistakes from the bowlers, regardless of how good they are. So it takes a bit of pace off there, Hugh Kennedy, just to make sure he gets it on target.
Yeah, I think even still with as little extras being that they have bowled it, Merrion will be really happy with the score.
100%. I think they would have taken this when they came into the game. So
certainly, yeah.
Knockharley 16 to get that coveted century mark. Another wide, and that one comes off the knee of John O'Hara. So a couple of wides there for Hugh Kennedy, and the wheel's just coming off a little bit for him here.
Yeah, could probably get a tiny bit sloppy, but maybe just need to take a deep breath at the top of your run up. Go again, focus on what you want to do, and.
Absolutely, he's just looks a little bit tentative now, doesn't he? So at the start of the game, he was very, very much up for it. Hugh Kennedy steaming in, following through, bowling good pace, and sometimes when the wides come in, you can start holding back, and then that doesn't actually help matters. Much better form from him there, follows through and fields off his own bowling. So yeah, I'm not sure what Conor Austin was saying to him when we went over, but I think it was ushered away quite quickly by Hugh Kennedy.
I know all about us captains. Sometimes I suppose you do yourself. Is the bowlers that can.
You know, the ones that need an arm around the shoulder and the ones that want to be left alone. Definitely. A fuller delivery, good carry that time from Kennedy, and Cameron Mirza, who's on 2 from 3, unable to make contact with that one.
Yeah, he's had a couple of wides in this over, but he's coming back quite nicely here. Just sticking to what has been working for him the whole game, and
yeah, what an advantage he has being so tall. And that one sliced away to cover.
Yeah,
Knockharley encouraging their batsmen. They know every run in a final makes a huge difference.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So and you can hear the Merrion fielders saying big last push. They're supporting, they're willing their bowler onto the end of his over. Hugh Kennedy probably wants to pick up another wicket or two before he finishes out.
Yeah, I think Merrion, they'll really be looking to have a good finish here. They've
unable to get that into the
it's going for the throw.
We recognised that from the semi-final last week. Hugh Kennedy had an opportunity for a run out and missed the stumps and went for overthrows. So needs to maybe practice that one. Picking up the ball halfway down the wicket and throwing at the bowler's end.
Yeah, the lads seemed on the ball there anyway, backing up.
They've learned their lesson. That's a lovely looking shot. BB Batal makes sure it mid off. The singles that Merrion feel won't hurt them at this stage as that closes out over number 19. Knockharley just reaching 87. with 1 over to go. So what do you think? Have a swing every ball, or try and make sure you get 6 singles? It's kind of 2 options. Sorry, 88 is the score.
I suppose with the score the way it is, I think you probably have to start going for it anyway with the last to definitely pick up some boundaries and get some form of a total up on the board. You know, and try and get a small bit of momentum coming off the field.
With the last over being bowled, Conor Austin turns to his most experienced bowler, James Hitchcock. Didn't do too well in his first over. Went for a surprising 13 as the senior bowler in the team, but did really well in the semi-final against Pembroke last week, as Andrew Leonard mentioned earlier. Closed out the game for Merrion in a very tight match. So skippers turned to him again and said, I trust you to keep the runs down in the last over.
Yeah, I think probably obviously he said he go to the most experienced player. I think probably the over didn't go the way he wanted earlier on, but I don't think that'll faze him too much. He's got that much experience that.
Lofted down to long off, just the single for Max Shiv Mangal. I apologise for Cameron Mirza. So 5 balls left. There's 11 runs to get to 100. Hitchcock goes full again. That one heaved into the leg side. And one batsman wants 2, one batsman wants 1, but the wicketkeeper unable to collect that. It was a very difficult take. Would have been a very difficult take, half volley. As John O'Hara shakes his head in disgust behind the stumps.
Yeah, he shouldn't be too disappointed with that one. Now it was a tough take. It came in on the boundary. I think he might have got in anyway.
Bit of indecision from the Knockharley batsman.
Yeah, they're probably just trying to get as many runs as possible as they can in this over. They're definitely trying to go large anyway, that's for sure.
Full and straight from Hitchcock. Well picked up down in the boundary from Peter Forkin, who returns. So it's singles all the way so far this over. 3 balls to go. Knockharley passing 90, and early on in the affair, 3 overs gone, they were 8 for 2, so could have been worse, but could have gone better.
Yeah, exactly. I think the power play in T20 is just key, and a brilliant ball there.
Brilliant stuff from James Hitchcock. Full and straight. He's stuck to the same plan all over, and as the batsman tries to get a bit inventive and moves leg side, Hitchcock hits his mark, hits the Yorker and takes his wicket.
There you are. Nothing beats experience. Anyway, he's just come back here now, and he's bowled a super over here. The last one on. It's really important, I think.
Well, nothing's more important, I think, at the end of the game, Fintan, than having a set plan, setting your field to it and trying to execute. If the batsman's better than you, or they get a bit of luck, an inside edge, or they just play a really good shot, then you can live with it. If you've set out your plan, you said to your captain, this is where I'm going to bowl, and someone whacks you over your head for 6, then fair play to them. But Hitchcock setting his plan, executing, and taking a wicket after an indifferent first over. This second over has certainly been impressive.
Yeah, exactly. This will bring the figures back looking good again now, and lovely Yorker there. That's really smart cricket.
He'll be complaining to the captain now that he didn't get a second over earlier in the piece, so he could kind of, spread out those runs, the average of those runs over a few overs and a few wickets. That's not what James Hitchcock is like at all. Sorry, I'm painting a terrible picture of him. He was skipper of Merrion 2s last year, and I know he really enjoys not having to captain this year, so he won't complain about a captain not giving him a ball. What a shot! First up, incredible stuff from the youngster. That's brought cheers from around the ground. Ramp first ball, that takes a bit of guts.
Yeah, it was an interesting one. It was kind of a dill scoop, kind of reverse kind of ramp, if that's a word there, I suppose. But it was an interesting shot, but I love the inventiveness of it anyway.
It's amazing how often a number 11 will have that shot in their armoury. Try and teach them for defence, no look, but they're happy to play a ramp.
Dead right. I'm sure he'd be the first lad coming in and telling the lads how to do it in there now as well.
Well, I mean, there's no one who plays a ramp better than yourself, so you must have enjoyed that one, Fintan. Me so hail.
I love the number 11 comes in with the reverse ramp over the keeper's head.
And a return chance well taken from Hitchcock. He decides not to have a shy at the stumps, keep the figures. well fielded from him. Managed to keep that. It was well hit again from Ramiz Sohail. They'll be wondering why he wasn't in earlier.
I was just thinking the same thing myself. He actually looks like he can hit it, the chap.
Well, that brings about the end of the Knockharley innings. They didn't quite get to the 100 mark, but they've got to 95 for 9 from their 20. Little bit of a flourish at the end there. The few spectators here will have enjoyed Ramiz Sohail ramp. Of course, it is easy coming in at the end of the innings and having a bit of a swing. There's no repercussions really, but what do you think, Fintan? Merrion in the ascendancy going into the second half of this game?
Yeah, I think you have to favour Merrion in this one now. But as I said, look, if they get off to a good start, get a couple of wickets down, you know, it is scoreboard pressure, but it's vital that Knockharley get off to get a decent power play in with a couple of wickets.
So a few bright spots in that batting card, but by and large, Knockharley will be disappointed with their performance today with the bat. However, they did get to 95. A couple of scores, Harry Shiv Mangal, and of course near the end we had Mark Ingemels making 20. A bit of a late flourish at the end there as well, and there's the bowling card. Wickets all round for Merrion, Hugh Kennedy and Peter Forkin opening up really well and coming back at the end, each of them taking a wicket. Naranjan Shankar, Bibi Patel and Daniel Forkin each claiming 2. Hitchcock just the 1.
Yeah, and geez, what figures there from Daniel Forkin there? 2 overs, 2 runs, 2 wickets. Unbelievable figures from the young man.
Yeah, he certainly took his opportunity when he was given it. It was a day for the spinners, but closed out well by the seamers at the end. James Hitchcock going for just 5 in the final over. 7. So there's the match summary. Not a huge target for Merrion to chase. They'll require just 4.7 runs in the over. Extras coming at the end, helping them to get to 95. Harry Shiv Mangal, Mark Ingemels and Ross Shiv Mangal, the top scorers for Knockharley. Daniel Forkin, PB Patel and Naranjan Shankar taking 2 wickets apiece as they have to go out and chase 95. We'll be back in 10 minutes for the second half. faster.
Welcome back to Sydney Parade for this, the second innings of the first final of the day on Cup Finals weekend here in Cricket Leinster. You're watching the IBI Corporate Finance Tillain Cup Final. Andrew Leonard here, being joined by the former Irish women's captain, that's Isabel Joyce. And Isabel, your home club Merrion in the ascendancy after losing the toss. Knockharley could only muster 95 in the first innings.
Yep, well, 95, they managed to scrape that up in the last few overs. They've done well to get to 95. Jack Condy, the skipper, opening the bowling for them at the Willfield Road end. And they still seem very pumped up. You never know what will happen in cricket, or T20 cricket in particular.
Yeah, I was talking with Fintan McAllister in the first innings about that funny old knack in cup finals of runs on the board, and the ground in beautiful shape, but runs always difficult to come by with such big boundaries, and we saw Merrion use their spinners so effectively in the first innings.
Yeah, not a huge amount of pace in this wicket, so Merrion will want to start off well, get a bit of momentum going in the power play.
Just sways down the leg side. The first runs of the innings will be an extra, as umpire Aidan Seaver, who's standing at the Willfield Road end, signals wide. A little bit of controversy in the first innings as well. The umpires having to come together. A little bit of a word with some rather strange goings on running between the wickets and all sorts of audible noises. A little bit of controversy is, don't you?
Well, every now and then.
Both sides certainly up for the final, I think it'd be fair to say.
Exactly. You never know what will happen when people are revved up for a final. And Jack Atkinson, you can see him talking to himself down there. He's batsman number one for Merrion. A much more experienced partner, Bibi Batal, opening the batting with him. And I know Jack will be desperate to get off the mark here. He's a good guy in a final, but it's always nervous before you get those first runs on the board. Fuller delivery and a rather loose shot from Atkinson.
Yeah, Bibi's the man who's done it all before at the top of the order for Merrion. Impressive innings in the semi-final against Pembroke at this ground. He can strike the ball really powerfully, can't he?
Yeah, you can never quite tell what Bibi's going to do, actually. He's not someone who you can read how he's going to hit the ball every ball, but hits it very cleanly.
Keeping it full and straight, the Knockharley skipper. That's Jack Condy. Really good first over this, and early nerves perhaps for Merrion. Just about 5 and over they need.
Yep, not a huge score to chase, but sometimes that can make things more difficult as you try and protect your wicket and, you know, take the full 20 overs to get to a low total and get yourself in trouble in knots in the middle overs maybe.
Huge appeal given. Aidan Seaver gets the finger up. That's the early strike that Knockharley wanted. Great scenes of celebration. We've got a cup final in our hands, Izzy.
Just what we spoke about, nerves early on. Jack Atkinson looking to just clip that one to the leg side. Perhaps if he was chasing a bigger total, he would have played a much more expansive shot. So, just looking at the replay, we said Jack Condy, the skipper, was bowling nice and full. And he does so again.
Oh yeah.
Played across the line. An easy decision in the end for Aidan Seaver, though he takes his time, and Jack Atkinson goes without scoring.
Yeah, I think the critical thing was there, it hit him on the full, and with Atkinson walking across his stumps, trapped right in line, probably hits him in line with about off stump, going on to hit middle and off. Another good decision from Aidan Seaver, and I thought the two umpires handled that little bit of controversy in the first innings really, really well. Clear communications to the players, exactly what they should and shouldn't be doing, with a little bit of silly carry-on really from the Knockharley batsmen. So Knockharley come into the game. It's their captain who strikes at the end of the first over. Just one run on the board, and a little bit of pressure on Merrion. It's going to be the experienced Rohit Pahuja to the crease at number 3 now.
Yeah, these two, lots of experience batting together, and it's Ross Shivmangal who'll take the second over. Opens the batting, opens the bowling, bowls with a bit of pace, can sometimes bowl with a little bit of can sometimes struggle with a bit of consistency, but when he bowls his best ball, it's almost unplayable. So lots of pressure on him, but if he can start off well, then Merrion might find this a bit more difficult than they might have expected at half time.
Loving to hear the Meath accents in the field there as well. Pressure on these two boyos was the shout there from, I think, extra cover. So lots of entertainment wherever you're watching from all around the world. It's finals day, it's finals weekend. The culmination of a shortened season. Shiv Mangal pulls out, we'll just see dead ball signalled. Yeah, shortened season because of the COVID-19 pandemic that's hit not just Ireland but the world, and been a really good job to get this curtailed season in. All 2020 cricket this year, and this is the final of the majority second 11s. And the first runs from the bat for the Merrion innings with Al working that into the leg side for a single.
Yeah, not where he would have wanted to bowl that, Ross. Shiv Mangal, he's set up for classic away swingers action. Third man on the boundary, cover out, and one slip in place, which you like to see. They need to take wickets here, Knockharley, if they're going to win this game, so that's exactly what they're looking for. They'll hope for a catch from their skipper in for a slip.
Yeah, and the way this shortened season worked this year was they put all the clubs into two groups. Beautifully bowled, beats him outside off stump. And a venturous shot first delivery from Rohit Pahuja. So yeah, two groups of 7 it was in this Tillain Cup. I think every side playing 6 games, then into a semi-final, which was last Sunday, before ending up with the best 2 teams of it all. Knockharley with their first 11 up against Merrion's second 11 here.
Yeah, 2 teams that are very excited to be in a final, and they're putting on a good show for us today. 2 full again, but Pahuja unable to get any runs from that one.
Yeah, the adrenaline flowing for Shiv Mangal. He's looking to get it down at good pace and just slightly over pitching 2 of his first 3 deliveries here. Such a funny one to approach a low chase in T20. Do you still try to go hard in the power play?
It's well bowled again, a little bit of shape, making Pahuja just defend that into mid wicket. Yeah, I'm sure that was what was the discussion in the Merrion, will I say, tent at the break. No use of changing rooms at the moment. So yeah, do we try and chase it in 13, 14 overs, get the bulk of the runs early on, or take our time and make Knockharley make the mistakes? An expansive shot again, but unable to get that one through.
It looks like Pahuja's signalling his intent, there's no doubt about that, but it does go to show it's just, there's been a lot of cricket here this season in a short period of time with the curtailed season, so perhaps these pitches not as easy to score as they would be. We've seen that kind of right throughout the grades. We haven't seen a huge number of high scoring matches really. Batsmen taking a little bit of time to find their way again after the big break.
Well bowled again from Shiv Mangal, finding his length as we finish out the second over. A good one again for Knockharley, just the single from it. Yeah, I think the way T20 usually works is you play it later on in the season, so you've had a good bit of 50 over cricket. You get into form, you train a lot and spend a bit of time in the middle, then it comes to T20 time and everyone's scoring well and the scores can be higher. But this year, obviously no 50 over cricket, nobody getting a huge amount of time at the crease, shortened season, so bowlers probably finding it easier to get a bit more time, a bit more training in, and they can hit their marks a bit better. So bowlers are people too. It's nice to see them have their day for once.
Yeah, it's really been right the way across the grades from all the divisions. It's 7 trophies that we've got up for grabs this weekend. The ball has dominated the bat for once. I suppose the weather conditions come into that a bit, even though we've got a glorious day here today. A little bit of a damp summer. Over pitched again, worked into the leg side, and despite the diving effort at mid wicket, might have just got a hand on that. They'll get back for 2.
Yeah, we're used to seeing a lightning quick outfield here in Pembroke, but a lot of rain has fallen in the last month, so just the 2 for Bibi Patel, a really important player for the Merrion team here today. Not much gets to Bibi. Dropped a catch earlier and you wouldn't have known it from looking at him. He's a very calm and collected customer, so once in a while he's at the crease, I think he'll keep the nerves from the Merrion contingent out here to our right.
It does feel like there's a little bit of nerves as well. First cheers coming for that 2 runs. They don't want to lose any more early wickets in this power play. That's a better length, carrying nicely through to the keeper. Good pace as well from the Knockharley skipper Condi.
Yeah, it's the first one we've seen him bowl that length. He aired on the full side in this first over. Sometimes happens when you're a little bit nervous opening up the bowling over pitch, but a bit more venom in that as Bibi Batal lets it go through to the keeper.
Just strays down the leg side this time. It'll be signalled wide by umpire Aidan Seaver. Yeah, this final weekend is the last recognised club cricket in Leinster. We've got the 7 finals over the course of 2 days. We'll be bringing you 4 live streams, 2 here from Pembroke today, 2 tomorrow. This is the IBI Corporate Finance Tillain Cup final. And this afternoon we've got a big championship between YMCA and Railway Union. Bit of a mix-up. Can't be cleanly picked up by the keeper, and the result will be a dot ball. Who are you fancying in the Battle of Sandymount later on this afternoon, Izzy?
Oh, I think it's a mouth-watering matchup. We've got the young guns from YM who managed to get themselves in a position when their senior players came back to make it to the final. Had a few really tight, low-scoring games early on in their season, and then Railway, who were a bit of a surprise package this year. Full ball smacked down the ground. Bibi Batal climbs into that one, says thank you very much, I'll score the first boundary of the Merrion innings.
Yeah, poor delivery. You can see Knockharley skipper Condi just hangs his head. He's really disappointed with that. That's a freebie for a batsman of Bathal's class, and as soon as he freed the arms, no one in the deep on the leg side. So 4 runs all the way. Not what Knockharley can afford with only 95 runs on the board.
No, and it's a bit of a surprise to me that they don't have anyone out on the leg side. He just tends to bowl very, very straight. Condi, from what I've seen, they've got cover on the boundary and third man, and he has straight down leg a couple of times and bowled quite full, so a bit of cover on the leg side might enable him to continue bowling that straight full line.
Really good Yorker to finish out. In fact, one delivery to come as well. Apologies, but this afternoon we've got the LHW Financial Planning Men's Senior League Cup final, and we could be in for an absolute cracker. Railway had a hugely rejuvenated season, winning the National Cup, I suppose, last year, but Pembroke would have been big favourites in the Battle of Park Avenue last week, and Railway turned them over.
Yeah, well, Railway playing really, really well at home. They know exactly how to play in their conditions. That's a great shot down the ground.
And it's going to just get over the heads. It won't have the power to get to the boundary in time to get back for 2 runs. I thought for a moment, Isabel, we were just in the game there.
Yeah, I thought I was going to see you take a great catch down at long off, Lenny. That's
this weird COVID world we live in, though. There was a ball hit down. I was commentating, I think it was 2 weeks ago. You might have been here yourself, and a ball hit right down to us, and naturally, your natural instinct, you wanted to go over and take it. And someone said, you're not allowed to touch the ball. Don't touch the ball. And then I saw yesterday in the the ODI between England and Australia, the ball got hit into the stands. One of the, I think, stewards picked the ball up, and then because he touched it, the umpire had to stop play, get the old hand sanitizer out, the ball got the spray on it, and we live in a different world now, don't we?
Yeah, it's one of those things you find yourself, even after months of having to deal with these things, you find yourself doing things you would have normally done, and it's not the right thing, and it can be very frustrating. So Ross Mangal returning for his second over. Shorter delivery. Rohit Pahuja defends that one well.
How difficult did you find that in terms of working with Cricket Leinster to pull together? I know there's a huge amount of work went on in the background to get the regulations and the guidance so that cricket could return.
Well, Cricket Ireland were the ones kind of putting together guidelines for all cricket on the island, so we waited for their guidelines. We obviously had things in place as we thought we knew what kinds of things we'd have to do. A fuller delivery and down the leg side from Shiv Mangal. But so we had to wait for their guidance, as our governing body, and then it was just about getting out to the clubs and being whatever help we could be at the very start. So we were all given different clubs that we had to liaise with, and everyone has their different issues. For example, Pembroke have 2 entrances, so that poses its own issue for admittance to the ground and keeping track of who's here, and other places that. Another one down leg, well taken by the wicketkeeper.
Yeah, you've got clubs like Phoenix, I suppose, that are in a public park then as well.
Exactly. Well, Phoenix, they're kind of enclosed, but you've got clubs like Adamstown, a huge club in Corky Park, and things were very, very difficult for clubs like them, Clondalk, and plenty more that I could name, where they don't really have control over the people that are coming onto their grounds. So it's just lots of different issues, but it was great to be able to help the clubs and have a season the way that we have.
Beautifully bowled, and it's bowled him. It's just clipped the leg bail. For a moment, there was a noise. I thought it was going to carry through, but the bowler knew immediately that's the second wicket. It's the big wicket of Bahuja. Knockharley fighting back into this game.
What a delivery from Bahuja. A couple deliveries down leg side, but we did say that when he bowls it, when he gets it on the money, he's a dangerous bowler. Tall guy, bowls from high action. He's got bowled a tough length there, hit the ridge, I think, here in Pembroke. And too good for Bahuja.
Well, I tell you what's absolutely extraordinary. We've just watched the replay back. I reckon that has clipped the off bail, which has ricocheted into the leg bail, and with just enough force to fall off. Shiv Mangal was convinced immediately, but that is the narrow margins we play our sport in. Bold, but only just.
That's really taking the old adage, hit the top of off to a new level. Here we go, have a look at it.
Oh, that's absolutely extraordinary, is he? It has clipped just the bail with the faintest nudge, which has knocked the off bail with enough power into the leg bail to make it fall, and the end result is the second wicket.
Yeah, so not the start Merrion will have wanted. They're 2 down with just 13 on the board, chasing 95.
I saw a tweet the other day, I don't know if you saw the delivery from the Caribbean Premier League that clipped the zing bails. It might have even been Ben Dunk batting, and it clipped the zing bails, but the bail didn't fall off. A little bit like happened to your brother Ed back in 2015 in Brisbane at the Cricket World Cup. And the tweet was saying, we've got to get rid of this rule where the bails have to fall off. But that's the perfect example of why they are needed and why they have to come off for the wicket to be affected.
Well, cricket's a brilliant game because of the little inconsistencies that can happen, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. And I think if you take away those small things, then every game just becomes a carbon copy of the other. So I completely disagree. Sometimes it falls on your side, sometimes it falls the other way, and you just never know, and that's why we love the game.
Yeah, they are the tiny margins of the sport that we love and that we play in. Do you remember that with Ed batting in the World Cup? I think it was against the UAE at the Gabba.
I think I was looking through my fingers, and I don't know if I was able to watch the replays. Shiv Mangal gets a bit of bounce there, but it's too wide, and Bibi Patel will be happy that he kind of missed that one.
Yeah, I was working for the ICC at the time, Izzy, and I remember I was actually in Wellington watching the game with an unbiased hat on, of course, as we were kind of working out what content to get out on the ICC's digital channels. And as soon as that happened, I said, we've got to get that clipped. And the clip went viral. It went all the way around the world. The bails lit up, but the bail stayed on, and Ed Joyce survived.
It's very well bowled from Ross Shiv Mangal. Seems to be getting into his work here. And with the dismissal of Rohit Bahuja, we have James Hitchcock coming in at number 4. So he's a very good bowler and a top order batter for the Merrion Twos. Classy batsman, loves to go over extra cover. A lot rests on his shoulders to see Merrion get over the line.
Just losing his run up a little bit there. We'll see dead ball signalled by umpire Bala Kalash.
Well, we will no doubt have plenty of viewers from Merrion and Knockharley, but we might be seeing a few from North County as well, as James Hitchcock is actually married to Orla Murphy of the Murphy clan. The famous Tom Murphy is her dad, and I was speaking to her last week. She says she loves watching the live streams because she can potter in and out and just watch when James is doing his thing. So no doubt she's watching. So a big hello to Orla and the Murphy clan.
Yeah, tightly knit crew, the Irish cricket community. Big hello to everyone up there in the Fingal region watching on finals day. Really good stuff this from Shiv Mangal. Max and Harry Shiv Mangal, if you just tuned in, you've got to remember former Merrion players. So a little bit of Harry and Ross Shiv Mangal, correct?
Ross, yes.
Former Merrion players, and a little bit of added spice to the cup final today.
Yeah, what fantastic guys they are. There'll be no issues between the Merrion players and the Shiv Mangals. Lots of love there, so great to see them coming back and strengthening Knockharley as well. Love to see talented players spread around, and it is the brother Harry Shiv Mangal who's going to replace Jack Condy. He'll be coming on from the Willfield Road end. Now, I should mention about Orla Murphy that actually she was born in South Africa, and James and Orla met in South Africa. So she is a Murphy. She certainly doesn't sound like the parts of the family that we'd be used to in North County, but a great family, a great cricket family, and I'm still trying to persuade Orla to take it up in Ireland. So hopefully we'll see her playing a bit of cricket next season.
Just thuds into the pad. Hitchcock, and we'll wait for the signal from Aidan Seaver, but it'll likely be given as a leg bye. It is. Let's just talk quickly about the route to the final for these two teams. Knockharley getting through in the most dramatic of fashions on the closing day. They needed to beat Tillain and beat them by as good a margin as they could on the final day and have a couple other results go their way. But it was the performance in the semi-final that was just so impressive. Izzy bowling out YMCA for 106 or 106 for 9 and then chasing that down for just the loss of 1 wicket. Big surprise, big turn up for the Bucks to get their way to the Tillain Cup final here.
Yeah, definitely giant killing in the semi-final from Knockharley. YMCA second's always a strong outfit with some experienced players, and they always have really talented youth coming through, so that will give them some heart. Oh, that one just died a little bit, didn't it? Went under the bat. James Hitchcock doesn't look too pleased.
Well, we saw a few like that in the first innings, but coming from the Merrion spinners, not from the Merrion quick bowlers, and yeah, just a little bit of variable bounce. This was the same pitch that was used for the semi-final last weekend, indeed the same pitch that was used for the inter-provincial match on the Thursday before, so a little bit of wear and tear.
A bit more bounce that time, and James Hitchcock, a little bit of a loose shot, so he's lucky he didn't get anything on that. Hitchcock, he's taking his time off to the side there, perhaps having a little word to himself about sticking in and making sure that he takes the game deep.
Yeah, Hitchcock, who was the hero for Merrion closing out the win over Pembroke in the semi-final. He's going to have to do his work with the bat, and certainly enthusiastic in the field here. Knockharley, they feel they're really in this cup final.
Yeah, well, when you're defending a low total like this in the second innings, it's very much you make sure you do everything that you can, put the ball in the right areas. It's not an easy wicket to get in on, as we've mentioned before, and when you're nervous as a batter, sometimes things can happen for the bowling team, so Knockharley giving themselves the best chance. Fuller.
Yeah, nicely driven that time by Hitchcock into the offside, but just going to be a single. So really good tight stuff to start out from Shiv Mangal, and at the end of the 5th over, the score is Merrion at 18 for 2. So after 5 overs, I'm going to just bid farewell to Isabel Joyce and have the first guest commentator of the Cup Finals day come and join me. A very warm welcome to Rajesh Addy from Knockharley Cricket Club.
Good afternoon, Lenny.
Rajesh, how are you going?
Good. Thanks so much. Thanks for inviting me.
How are you feeling? Your side are set at the moment?
No,
not perhaps the batting effort you would have hoped for?
It's not a good score which we anticipated, but again, it's going to be we have to let's get defended. That's what we can do. So we have to, we have a good bunch of bowlers, 2 different.
That one just worked into the leg side for the second boundary of the innings. Just strain in line that time, Shiv Mangal, and nicely clipped away by Hitchcock for 4 runs. Yeah, 95 isn't what you were probably hoping for at the bat, but you still feel confident after those couple of early wickets that you can drag your way back into it?
That's true. The lads can do, but that 2 wickets which we got, it's going to boost up the morale and the whole team, so hopefully.
A beautiful Yorker, almost half an appeal. They just felt that it might have hit the toe first, but well dug out by Hitchcock. End result's going to be a single. Tell us a bit about the club. It seems to be experiencing a bit of a rebirth. Would that be fair to say?
Indeed, yeah, you're right, Lenny. Because the amount of interest in County Meath, it's going extraordinarily high. We have a good lineup of young players coming into the club. So yeah, it's well defended there.
Yeah, just get through for a quick single.
That
I
was
think the Knockharley fielders thought a direct hit might have been out. My
Was
money would
very
have been
close.
on the batsman to get home, but the end result, Rajesh, has been a bit of a blow for Batal just as he was trying to run through for the single. So we hope he's going to be all right. It's all happening on Cup final day, but yeah, there's been a real sort of rebirth, a growth in the levels of interest in the sport.
That's right, yeah. Because what we're doing, like, we are approaching the local community to come and play the cricket. Like, we have good numbers of cricket players playing cricket. Being in a countryside, well, we have a good lineup of players, like the young players, like the keeper himself. Like, he's very young, Usman, and we have Ramiz Junior, like, that's why we call him a junior, and Philip Shackleton, Thaddy McKee, but these are the young players who come in.
And tell us, for viewers who don't know anything about Knockharley, tell us a bit about the history and the ground and where you're located.
We are located just in behind the Kentstown. Like, we have been playing cricket since 28 odd years now. It's good, like, from the years moving on. Like, we had a good numbers, and we have old 50s and the players who played well cricket and moved on now. But again, the young team which is coming into our club, we have good few numbers, all right, like 60 odd members on it playing on a non-COVID season, like, you know what I mean. So yeah, we have 50 odd kids on the under 10s on a, but yes, and if you talk about 2019, like, the kids that we have, 50 odd, and we have to appreciate our coach Emmett Craig. He's really doing a great job, like, because he's giving his 100% in training the kids. So on a given day, even 2020 COVID season, we had 25 or under 13 playing cricket, and the amount of interest is growing.
Fantastic, and that's what the future is all about. We've just got a slight hold up in play here as Bathal's still down. I'm just going to bring you the state of play if you're joining us for the first time today. You can see in the graphics on your screen there, that's the match summary. Knockharley won the toss. They decided to bat first, and they could only muster 95 for 9 from their 20 overs. Batting has been difficult today so far, and they've been given some hope early in this power play in the second over, or in the second innings, because a strike from the captain Condi and Rashiv Mangal with an absolute beauty of a delivery to clean bowl.
It was indeed a beautiful ball, like, in mid-off and taking the leg bail, like, it was a beautiful ball.
It just tickled that off stump, didn't
That's
it?
right, yeah, just off the bails off, like, and it's a beautiful ball.
I enjoyed the celebrations that were immediate from Shiv Mangal, because I think a few people in the field didn't know whether it was an edge at first. It was a very faint noise, but indeed the leg bail was dispatched, and glad to report now, back live, Bathal has been given a bit of the magic spray and a bit of a rub, and he's back on his feet, and he's not going to need a runner, which is good to see. So just the final stages of the power play now. So Knockharley this season putting out 2 men's teams, but there's capacity for growth in that down the line as well.
That's right. So on any given non-COVID time, like, we had 3 teams playing up because of the non-registration of due to COVID. We had to field only 2 teams, but again we had a field for 3 teams, but
and this season the first have obviously made a bit of a step up in the grade, coming in and challenging in the Tillain Cup. You must be delighted with the club getting all the way to the cup final. It's a big occasion.
Oh, it is. It means a lot for County Meath and as well the Knockharley Cricket Club, like, because the lads put the amount of effort they put, like, we have to appreciate all the lads. Tuesdays, Thursdays coming on to the training, so the amount of work they did.
Just strays down the leg side, that will be signalled wide. And the facilities you have there in just outside Kentstown, it's a beautiful ground with a lovely setting.
On a beautiful day like this, we can't go wrong with this kind of location, like, and yeah, we have to appreciate Jack Condi himself and Raf Condi, who looks after the grounds, and the square. It's a beautiful square done by Jack Condi most of the time, but we have to appreciate them, like, their efforts, what they put to maintain the grounds itself. is enormous. Like, you know.
That's going to end the power play, and it's a power play with the match right in the balance. 2 early wickets for Knockharley, and 2 beautiful deliveries finding the early breakthroughs, and at the end of 6 overs the score now 25 for 2, and the required run rate just starting to nudge up above 5 and over. And we do have a cup final on here. You can see Aidan Seaver on your screen there indicating the end of the power play. You're a side that has good strength and depth. Tell us a bit about your bowling options as well. Who are we likely to see? We're going to see the good doctor with his leg breaks later on.
I would love to see how the spin works, like, you know, because on a given day, Cameron Mirza, he bowls a very good ball, but again, it all depends upon the square and the pitch and the grounds. Like, so I would say the spin is working for this today's pitch. So,
and yeah, we saw him warming up there. He's going to bowl a few leg breaks. He's got a googly out the back as well. Really cunning bowler.
He's a very kind of deceiving bowler, and so we are relying on the spin today.
It's been all pace so far though, so now we're into the second phase of the innings with 5 fielders allowed outside the circle. We're likely to see spin sooner rather than later, probably see it in the next over or 2, but this pace battery of Condi and the 2 Shiv Mangals doing a great job for Knockharley at the moment. Short ball pulled with no control. In fact, his hand comes off the bat and gets through for a single. And good attacking captaincy from Condi. He's only utilising 3 men outside the circle at this stage, trying to keep the pressure on.
He's total confidence on the bowler, like, you know, because if we see his field set, is the amount of confidence he's got on his bowlers, like, you know, we have to appreciate that.
Powered into the leg side a little bit agriculturally by Hitchcock, who's more known for his flowing shots through the offside, but he'll get back for just a couple here. Perhaps just an indication there of the fact that Merrion feeling they're getting a little bit behind the rate. They're going to need to start taking a more aggressive approach.
That's right, yeah, because they shouldn't be taking any pressure at this stage, like, you know, because they have the upper hand now, for now, until the spin comes on.
And that solitary shot has brought about a change in the field. The man who was in short through man at slip has gone onto the leg side into that aptly named cow corner. He's going to go all the way out into the deep. So still just 3 men outside the circle at this stage. Good captaincy from Condi. That's more what Hitchcock is known for, a glorious cover drive, but protection out there, just going to be a single. If you're just tuning in, it's Andrew Leonard here bringing you these pictures on Cricket Leinster Cup Finals Day. I've got Rajesh Addy from Knockharley CC, our insider, giving us the inside scoop on what's going on in the club. How big a deal is it for the club to get to a cup final?
It means a lot for us, like, you know, because the amount of interest, like, you know, once we portray ourselves as Knockharley going into the finals of any cup, we can boast. Being a countryside club, but again, we can boast ourselves saying that, like, you know, we go up into the finals, we can create interest. So the next stage of Knockharley is, like, we have to go market ourselves, like, you know, because most of the country, this side of the town, the people that don't know there is a club existing.
Powered into the offside, not going to carry. There was an initial shout of catch, the enthusiastic Knockharley fielders, but yeah, and that marketing job is trying to get into the local community a bit more, maybe into the schools a touch.
That's right, yeah. So I think so. Anna O'Meara, who's from Cricket Leinster, I think she's doing an extraordinary job by contacting the schools and get some interest, like, you know.
Yeah, Anna O'Meara, who's doing some work with I think it's the Meath County Council. Short ball hit out towards the man who's been placed at cow corner, but just short. It teased him, it didn't carry, it wasn't a chance, but just for a moment with the ball in the air, it just seemed to hold up in the air, Rajesh,
That's
didn't
right,
it?
yeah. If it wasn't middlingly, it's sort of going straight into the hands, but again, fortunately, or fortunately.
Yeah, we could be in for a low-scoring classic here. You'd have thought at the halfway stage with Knockharley only managing 95, having won the toss and deciding to bat first, that it might be a cakewalk for Merrion, but it's proving to be anything but that. And you can see in the bottom of your screen there, still 65 more runs needed off 13 overs. I'm no mathematician, Rajesh, but it's exactly 5 and over to win.
It is 5 and over, exactly. You're right. I was about to say that. Like, it's 5 and over, and that's what they need, unless if the spinner comes into the picture and stop reduce the rate.
This is going to be the leg breaks now coming into the attack of
Cameron.
So this is Cameron Mirza, and this is the man who's a doctor, correct?
He is indeed, yeah, he's a GP.
The GP, the good doctor into the attack. if only his leg breaks. And mark my words, we are going to see an absolute spell of genius here from the good doctor. He's a beautiful leg break bowler. There's a really good googly. I saw him warming up there. I played against him earlier in the season. He spun a web around us in Pembroke. Can he do the same to Merrion?
He should, and that's what he's good at, like, you know.
Yeah, he's a really beautiful bowler. Plays with such enthusiasm. We're not going to give away his age today, but certainly in the golden stages of his career.
Oh, he would have done magic.
Magic.
Magic, yeah. I'd say, yeah.
Yeah, can he turn the game here for Knockharley? The good doctor.
I'd say age is just a number, Lenny.
Needs a wicket. Can he find one? Just leg break so far. Slightly off the wrong foot he bowls. Reminds me, not at the same pace as Rashid Khan, but that little bit unorthodox leg break action. But he does have a good googly that he disguises well. How long is he going to be before? How long is it going to be before he brings it out? It's the slower, or the flatter, quicker one through the air. The good doctor's already up to his tricks here.
Yeah.
All those dots building up pressure here. Fuller this time and just doesn't find the pitch, and powered down the ground by Bethal. The man at mid-off is in the circle, so it's going to be a boundary to relieve all the pressure. They're the first cheers we've heard from the Merrion crew, and that shows how important that was.
That's true. That was a full toss, unfortunately, but again, it was a good hit.
Yeah, Bethal very experienced at this level for Merrion. He's led the way for Merrion seconds for many seasons now, and if he can bat through, he'll be confident of getting his side home. Short of this time, cut into the deep. Might be time to get back for two, but of course Bethal, who's had that injury, that's going to be a factor with the throw that came in, so only time for a single. Who else are we likely to see maybe bowl? You were mentioning some other spinners?
There is one pass spinner, not consistently bowling, but again, Tayyab Rashid is a good off-break spinner.
Yeah, we saw him warming up during the break.
That's right, yeah. And we have Ramiz, who's a good pace bowler, but again, he's up his jacks. He's not an ace bowler, but again, he's a good bowler.
Yeah, so it's really the pace attack that Knockharley are relying upon. Differing approaches. We saw so much spin from Merrion throughout their innings. Proved so effective. Difficult to score on this wicket when it's turning. But a good start there from Cameron Mirza, with the exception of that one full toss. His 4 overs are going to play a big part in this final. Just angled into the leg side, and you can see Bethal really struggling to run between the wickets, and the throw comes in. He just gets back for two. That is going to be a factor for the rest of this final.
Hope it's not sore for Bethal. Hope he's alright.
Yeah, he was really hobbling getting back for two,
right,
though, there.
Yeah.
Nicely bowled and clever cricket from Bethal. He's happy to work that down to third man. Will he get back for two? He will. Looks like every stride is coming at great pains at the moment, but 2 more runs to the total, and the shout from the Merrion dressing room is keep going, lads.
I'm the father of the ship.
Yeah, it looked fantastic. So we're just going to have a little change in the commentary box. Rajesh Addy's going to bid farewell. Thanks for joining us, Rajesh.
Thanks, Annie. Thanks for that.
And we're going to have Mr. Shiv Mangal come and join us. And
Senior, yes.
tell us a little bit about your emotions as you're going through the final here.
Yes, very, very emotional actually. Got 3 sons playing today, which I'm very proud of that fact. Harry and Ross have a bit of history with Merrion, of course. They've played with Merrion over the 2 or 3 years, from 2015 to about 2017. So it makes it all very interesting.
Yeah, funny twist of fate that has led Knockharley to the final against the Shiv Mangal's former club. And yeah, we're having Mr. Shiv Mangal Senior join me, Andrew Leonard, in the commentary box, commentating on his not just 2 but 3 sons.
Yes,
an incredibly proud man, and he must have been delighted with that delivery. Was it Ross that bowled it, clipped
Ross,
the
yes.
top of off stump?
We all thought that was caught behind, but he knew before we all
He didn't, he just?
Yes.
And it actually ricocheted the off bail into the leg one. Powered into the sky. There's a fielder out there. This could be a chance. Jordan taken! What a catch! I thought for a moment it was going to go down right in front octopus. He went reverse cup. He didn't take it on the first attempt, not the second, but the third, and that was enough for Knockharley. The third wicket falls. What a moment in this cup final.
That was a very important wicket, a very important catch for Knockharley. That guy, batsman, is a brilliant batsman. We know he's capable of taking this game away, and I think he did that in the semi-final as well. So
yeah, let's take a look at the replay. It was powered down the ground, and as you can see, brilliantly captured. Wasn't taken on the first time, juggled on the second. It looked for all money after the second fumble. It was going down.
Yes, exactly.
But somehow he clings on.
He focuses and takes it on that third attempt, which is brilliant.
And huge relief. It felt like that played out over a series of many moments, but it was all in an instant.
Absolutely.
The catch was taken. Knockharley, they're in this game.
They just keep, it keeps them in the game, that catch. Very important.
Yeah, Hitchcock falls. The third wicket falls for Merrion. And a little twist in this cup final, the IBI Corporate Finance Tillain Cup final. We're bringing you on the most glorious of days. Feels like the heart of summer all of a sudden on the 12th of September.
It's a beautiful day today, yes, absolutely.
Glorious day, and it's going to bring the new man to the crease for Merrion, number 5. Well, he's not going to be on strike. That's Naranjan Shankar.
Oh, that was close. That was just missed the outside edge there.
Yeah, beautifully bowled. Tell us about your two primary sons who've been bowling so far. Very fine athletes.
Yeah, Harry and Ross. Harry's actually the elder. He's the slightly shorter one, and Ross is the taller one. He's about 6'5", and Ross and Harry being 6'1". I mean, that they've been playing cricket. I brought them up through cricket playing for the third team in Knockharley. I was the captain, and I brought them up from sort of 12, 13 years of age and brought them into the men's game, and have taken on them from through there. You know, since 2014.
And was there ever a point where all 4 of you played together in the same team?
Yes, there was, and there has been. And in fact, we go on a tour to Kent with my old side in England called Selsdon, and there's 6 of us playing that game. 6 Shivmangals playing that game. 2 of my brothers, my 3 sons, and myself.
Well, we talk about iconic Irish cricketing families, the likes of the Joyces, the O'Briens, the Moonies. We can add the Shivmangals to that today, making a great impact here on finals day for Cricket Leinster. And you can't help but feel that this final is just turning on its head. These 3 more overs of Cameron Mears' leg break's going to be absolutely critical. He's bowling to the left-handed Naranjan Shankar now. There's plenty of depth in this Merrion batting lineup, but we've seen it's difficult to accelerate, difficult to score quickly.
Yes, it is. He's a good bowler. He's tricky. You've got to watch him.
He mixes up his pace. He likes to float the leg breaks out, but then he's got that quicker one we've seen, and he does have a googly as well.
Yeah.
That's beautifully bowled. Good
That
loop.
was a beautiful ball, yes.
Worked into the leg side, and if you're just joining us, you can see BB Batal, who's come on to strike, has taken a blow, and he's struggling to run between the wickets, so it adds another dimension to this chase, even though it's only about 5 and over required. The game right in the balance.
Absolutely. BB is probably the big wicket that Knockharley need to put them in a much commanding position. If they can get him, I think it'll be very close. It'll be a very, very tight match.
Very much in the game, yeah. And we've got a hell of a cup final on all of a sudden. Could be a low-scoring classic. Beautifully bowled again, tempting, and BB can only work that into the offside for a single. Yeah. Where's the journey of your sons gone? You said they 2 of them came up and played a bit with Merrion. Back now with Knockharley. Is that something you're pleased with?
The back hold with Knockharley, and we hope to bring Knockharley's profile up by coming back in. These clubs on the outside of Dublin, we sometimes get sort of, the country cousins, and sometimes you just need that.
Yeah, just going to interrupt you for a sec, because you just had a dead ball called. I'm not actually 100% sure as to why. Just one of the fielders in the deep kind of moving his position, so it would have been unfair to the left-handed Shankar, who wouldn't have known that. Good umpiring again. Fuller this time heaved into the leg side. There's a man out there, and the doctor's got a wicket. The 4th wicket falls. Temp Shankar with the full bunger can only pick out the man at Cow Corner. A good catch is taken by Ross Shivmangal. I've got a very proud father to my left, and he's struggling to contain his joy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, if he had dropped that, I would have killed him tonight, but he didn't.
Yeah, and as a leg break bowler myself, it doesn't matter how they come. It wasn't where he was looking to bowl it, but he's tricked Naranjan Shankar into picking out the man in the deep. Yeah. And with 4 wickets down, all the 4s are on the board now. It's 44 for 4.
44 for 4. Excellent. Very interesting game now.
Yes, sorry, you were saying that the kind of the profile of Knockharley, you're hoping to
Bring
try
it
and
up,
build
yes.
it up. And
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of youngsters. This team is made up of actually. I used to play in the early 2000s when I first came over to Ireland, and so did Ralph Condy and others. And these are their sons. These are the sons of our sons playing now. So this is really great to see.
it's a special day for you.
Yeah, it is absolutely.
Beautiful to hear the thoughts of Mr. Shiv Mangal here, commentating alongside me, Andrew Leonard, on his three sons playing in the cup final. That's Harry, Max and Ross. And Ross has just taken a big catch. Two big catches in just 2 overs for Knockharley. This cup final turning on its head. That's the faster one.
That was the
Doctor
fast one.
punched it
And
the
they punched-
offside, a bit of a mix-up. Direct hit would have been close, and it has to be said, the enthusiasm from the Knockharley fielders almost
Yes.
coming close to boiling point.
The energy levels have just gone up, haven't they, with that 4th wicket? I think it's fantastic.
So, at the halfway stage of the chase, I'm going to pay huge thanks to both Rajesh Addy and Mr. Shiv Mangal for joining me in the commentary box.
Thank you very much for having us. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. And Andrew Leonard here will pass on now to Isabel Joyce, who'll be joined by Fintan McAllister.
Cheers, Lenny.
Well, it may be a low-scoring final, but it's certainly not a boring one. Merrion just struggling a little bit at 45 for 4 from 10. Fintan, which camp would you rather be in at this stage?
Oh, it's probably a tough one to tell. I tell you, if I thought Merrion were enthusiastic in the field, I tell you, Knockharley have come out, they are full of beans out there, and I think we're in for a bit of a cracking finish here.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on that man, Bibi Patel. He's the experience that's been batting right through. He's got the pace of the pitch. Little bit of a struggle between the wickets at the moment. He got hit in the foot, I think it was, but lots of pressure on him as Harry Shiv Mangal continues from the Willfield Road end. And unable to find the boundary really, Merrion, and it shows that sometimes you can't really tell what a good score is until the second team have batted.
Yeah, exactly. It seems, and it's probably a bit of a mix as well. I think Spin did the key for Merrion, but seems to be doing the job here for Knockharley.
Absolutely. I think what we've found especially from the Willfield Road end is just decent military medium pace on a good length is very difficult to hit. Ball not coming on that much, and John O'Hara, the youngster, wicketkeeper, facing up. So has a look at one. Lots of nerves for him, no doubt. I'd say a lot of things going through his head right now.
Yeah, probably nervous out there, but just needs to keep himself nice and relaxed and do what he does probably best. That's probably got Merrion to the final here as well, So
A drive shot takes the thick outside edge, and Harry Shiv Mangal holds his head in frustration, but that is John O'Hara off the mark. Yeah, well, one of the things about playing a full season of T20, Fintan, and you probably found this yourself coaching out in Malahide, so a lot of the time by the time you get to the final, your numbers 6, 7 and 8 haven't done a huge amount of batting, so very difficult to come in a final and take your team home.
yeah, true. Especially if you have a lot of young lads in the team, it can be a big ask for them. But I think we're set up for a belter here. One thing I think Knockharley have done really well is they haven't actually searched for wickets. They've just tried to bowl decent line and length.
Good fielding and extra cover with a bit of style. That's the skipper, Jack Condy. Another tidy over from Harry Shiv Mangal. Great figures for him. He's bowled his 4, going at just 3.5, so a very valuable spell from him as they close out the 11th over, and just 2 from it. Merrion in a bit of trouble now. What can happen in these middle overs is you don't quite know you're losing them until they're over. So if Knockharley can make sure that they only go for 2 or 3 runs for the next couple of overs, it's going to be very, very difficult for Merrion to catch up.
Yeah, exactly. I think probably like the first innings, Merrion just need to keep it ticking over here, keep ticking along, and their boundary will come. But
how difficult is it when you have 2 different runners like this? John O'Hara, a youngster, as we saw, was backing up a lot. Will probably want to run a lot between the wickets, and his counterpart probably more used to hitting boundaries and has a little bit of an injury. That's very smart bowling from the leg spinner there. He's tempting the youngster out. I think we can safely say that one was pitched outside leg, so not a real appeal for Bala Kalash, but huge amount of noise here from the Knockharley batters, putting pressure on John O'Hara.
I have to say, there's been some buzz shift here now. It's been full of beans. Knockharley here.
It doesn't. It's difficult as well for John O'Hara. It doesn't look like he's got a very specific plan here, and the spinner Cameron Mirza just getting through his over very quickly. So flatter one, inside edge. That's just missed leg stump. So very lucky from John O'Hara here. What can the youngster do?
Yeah, I think he really just has to look to get his single away, maybe get his partner on strike, because you know, his partner's been in for a while. He's a bit more experienced, but
it's in the air, but not for long enough. And a really valuable over here for Knockharley, the 12th one going for none so far, with just one to come. So we spoke about a few tied overs now, and Merrion will need to double their score in just 8 overs. Shifts outside leg stump, leading edge, mid-off comes in, and he's dropped it. Another surprising drop. We had one in the first innings. Yeah. And then that one, I think he was just a little bit too casual. Those ones, a leg spinner coming in, leading edge means a lot of spin, so that one's gone down.
Yeah, I think Knockharley would be pretty disappointed with that. It's certainly one that they probably should have caught. But nonetheless, a fantastic over there.
Yeah, really, really experienced bowling from Cameron Mirza. Bowled slightly off the wrong foot, but showed kind of his full array of deliveries. Very, very flighted first delivery, flattened up the next one. Bowled a quicker one, and then that one there, he thought he'd had his wicket. He'd set up the youngster nicely, and then the fielder doesn't do the job for him. So disappointment for him. Change of bowling at the Wheelfield Road end. Skipper returns back on the money straight away. That's Jack Condy. And they're really up and about here in Knockharley.
I have to say they're bowling a lot of dots, which is just kind of, you know, when you're out there in the middle, there's going to be pressure playing on the batter's mind.
Yeah, sometimes if you're in BB Patal's position, you can start worrying about what the person at the other end's doing. So what he's really got to do now is focus on his own game and see if he can take the team home. Down the wicket. Decides to take a single. That's well taken. I think that's a good idea from BB. Get down the wicket and then make sure it's a shorter run to the other end with that injury to his foot.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Tactics.
So if you're just joining us, this is the IBI Corporate Finance Tillain Cup final between Merrion Cricket Club, who are batting and in a bit of a spot of bother, 48 for 4 against Knockharley, who struggled to post 95 for 9 in the first innings, but they're up and about now. Fielders coming in, putting pressure on the young new batter, John O'Hara. And he may have survived the last ball of the last over, but he doesn't survive this one. That's another wicket for Knockharley. Jack Condy gets his man, and John O'Hara's got to go for one.
I have to say, yeah, Knockharley are really up and about here. They are absolutely buzzing out there in the field, and each wicket they just seem to be getting louder and louder, and it's great to see.
Yeah, what it would mean to them to win this Tillain Cup, this IBI Corporate Finance Tillain Cup final. So BB Patal, we were saying that there's a lot of pressure on him, and he might be worried about the other end, and there might be cause for him to be, because if he runs out of partners, it doesn't matter what he does.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, there is a bit of pressure on him now. He's probably going to have to come into the new batsman and have a chat, and they have to work out a game plan where they're going to go with this. But I have to say, I don't think there's anything better than an low-scoring thriller.
Yeah, you were saying that at the break, and I was a little bit unsure, but I think I'm with you now. It's Vicky Dalwani, a left-hander coming in, so sometimes a little left-right hand combination can do wonders for you, so you wonder how consistent the Knockharley bowlers will be now that they've got to bowl to a left-hander coming around the wicket. It's Jack Condy. Straight on the money. And sometimes when you're in these kind of games, fielding can be the most fun thing, can't it? They seem to be really enjoying it out there at Finton.
Yeah, I don't think you can make a bet for the buzz that they have gone around, and there are a few attack and field sets here. We've got kind of a short mid wicket in here. They're playing it quite well.
Bit of an edge, but goes to point, and everything seems to be going right for Knockharley, apart from that slight mishap, but it didn't cost them when fielder put down John O'Hara at the end of the last over. And another tied over, this one the 13th for Knockharley, and Merrion's score just seems to be on 40 forever here. A full delivery, well bowled again from Condy.
Yeah, what I love from Knockharley is here they're just bowling dots, just bowling dots, and it's just working for them.
Yeah, it's certainly a good game plan when there's a slow outfield and a slow wicket. It's more about forcing the batsmen to take risks, making them take on the match. And whenever Merrion have taken on the match, they've fallen foul of it. James Hitchcock looking to go down the ground, and he got caught. And Naranjan Shankar, not placing a full toss and getting caught on the boundary. So two really experienced players there and not doing the job for their team. And it's going to fall to some of the lower order to see if they can get Merrion over the line.
Yeah, well, what I think Knockharley have done is really well, because when you're bowling to a low target, you can sometimes search for wickets, and you can bowl balls that you don't usually bowl and they go to the boundary, but they've just kept it simple, tried to bowl nice and tight and bowl their dots, and they're reaping the benefits of it at the moment.
Well, there's an interesting issue coming up for Knockharley very shortly, which is that they've only used 4 bowlers up to this point, so those 4 bowlers will eventually run out of overs, and they'll have to turn to down the wicket for Bibi Patel. Vicky Dawani looking to turn and go, but good fielding on the boundary there.
Yes, saved the 2 out there in the deep. Yeah, that is interesting. If they've only used their 4 bowlers,
means they'll have to have bowlers number 5 and 6, not just 5. You can't bowl from both ends at the same time. So
exactly, and you probably want to get them in sooner rather than later, because if it's getting to the latter stages of the game and there's a bit of a partnership building, you don't want your best bowlers bowled out and with nothing at the bowl for.
That being said, they might have decided, right, we've got to just take these wickets early. We're going to bowl out our best bowlers, and if we get it to the last 4, then we trust our bowlers number 5 and 6 to take us home. So I guess only time will tell. Flatter one. Well placed slip there, ready to field. I'm not sure that was what he was there for, but it was fortuitous nonetheless.
Yeah, I love it. 13th over, get the slip in. It's great. He's kind of nearly a gully there as well, a bit.
I'm not sure that was where that was meant to go, but it's gone to the leg side nonetheless for a single. Vicky Dalwani off the mark, and Bibi Patel back on strike. So he's having a look around. He might be starting to make some plans, but maybe seeing out the end of Cameron Mirza might be a good plan. Flatter one. Another dot. Incredible number of dots here from Cameron Mirza.
Yeah, he's bowled so well here today.
Dash shuffles down the wicket and just a prod into the offside. Better throw might have seen Vicky Dalwani in a bit of trouble, but another single for Merrion, and they finally reached that 50 mark.
50 mark, yeah.
In the 14th over. So
I think you probably know the Merrion lads down there better than me. Do we have any big hitters coming in that can?
Slower ball hits it leg side. That's better placement from Dalwani than we saw earlier from Naranjan Shankar. That's a well-needed boundary for Merrion, and it gets a good cheer from the Merrion faithful in the tent as we close out the 14th over. Yeah, we have Hugh Kennedy, long levers. He's down there at number 11, but he's as likely to get bowled as he is to hit you a 6, so it's one or the other a lot of the time if you bowl on the stumps. Conor Austin can bat well, a bit frenetically, and then Daniel and Peter Forkin are both very good batters, but big hitters, I'm not quite sure they can be called that yet. So, very, very well able, and, if it was a 50 over game, I'd say they'd be in no trouble, but with time running out, they might find that it's the time that costs them. So, a change in bowling here. I think it might be your favourite player, who scooped the second last ball of the innings.
Oh, here we go. Let's see now if we can back it up with the ball there, because that was shot of the day so far, I think. The old Dill reverse scoop.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna might have even invented a name for themselves now at this stage. I think. That's the
Well, just loses his run up straight away, and good thinking from the bowler. Knew he wasn't in a good position, so he's decided to make sure. Start again. So 6 overs to go. Short and down leg side. I think an excited appeal as opposed to a hopeful one there. The bowler didn't really seem to think there was any chance.
that seemed very ambitious from me, especially from deep cover there. There was a nice loud appeal from there, but
It kind of reminds me of a youth game, you know, when they're not quite sure what LPW is. So shows the level of excitement. Single for BB. He's been prolific through that point or backward point area.
yeah, he's just nudging it around. He just needs someone else down the other end just to do kind of the same for the moment, and hope that, as you've seen in the last over, the boundary ball came. You might get 1 or 2 bad balls and over, and that's where you put that away for 4. But you get your good ball, you still need to be hitting this for hitting a single.
It's an easy game from out here, all right, but that's certainly the way to go with 40 needed in just under 6 overs. So it's not a huge amount per over that they need, but they've shown, and Knockharley have shown how difficult it is to score when they're bowling on the right length and the right spot, and their fielding has backed, for the most part, up their bowlers.
Yeah, the bowling's been exceptional now, I have to say.
Oh, just reaching for that one. Vicky Tillain and Ramiso Hale up for this challenge as bowler number 5. We were worried that they might run out of bowlers, but bowler number 5 is certainly doing the job for them so far.
Yeah, it looks very handy here.
And let's see Vicky Tillain. I think there must be a bit of swing there. He's looking leg side and the keeper's taking it on the offside.
Yeah, I think he was going for the big one there. The head just went in the air a bit, probably just a bit too early, and went through with a shot.
I might be expecting it to come through a little bit quicker, I'm not sure, but certainly threw that shot too early. Oh, and the keeper, unfortunately, there misses out. It's a difficult one. You don't like those ones, Fintan. You're a keeper yourself. Those ones that just skid through.
Those ones, yeah, no, they just bounced in front of him, you know, and probably at low scores, probably something that you don't want, but when you're defending a low total like this. But I actually thought the keeper could probably come closer. Probably the whole game I've been thinking that to the seamers, just the carrier hasn't been coming through as well.
Adam Seaver's arm must be getting tired there. He's been signalling that for a long time, and the scorers have finally acknowledged that they've taken that they've seen that it's a boundary. So a bit of fortune for Merrion there. Shorter delivery, pulled off the hip, manages to keep it down, and Harry Shiv Mangal, I think it is, on the boundary, does a good job of tidying up. That's the end of the over. So a decent one for Merrion. They looked like they might only get 1 or 2 off it, and then a few buys helping them out, helping them get 6 off it, or 7 off it.
5 more overs left, is it? Yeah.
So 15 overs gone.
15 gone.
15 gone. Merrion 61 for 5, and they need 96 to win.
Yeah, it still looks like we're in for it'll be a cracking finish here.
So with that, a bit adieu to Fintan McAllister. Thank you so much for your help in this innings, and welcome back Andrew Leonard, as we are going to call the rest of this very exciting IBI Corporate Finance Tillain Cup final.
What a final we have, Izzy. Absolutely extraordinary stuff. They say the low scoring games are the best ones.
Certainly what Fintan was saying to me at the break, I was sceptical, and then the game hasn't disappointed so far. It's amazing how lots and lots of dots can actually be exciting in cricket. I'm not sure non-cricketers understand it, but for those of us who love the game, as Ross Shiv Mangal returns from the St John's Road end, and a thick edge for Vicky Tillain, and that's 4 much needed runs from Merrion Cricket Club.
Yeah, and remarkably no third man in place. You can't quite believe that at any point of a T20, let alone with 5 overs to go. They had the slip in place. Flays off the flashing blade of Dalwani, and a crucial second boundary for him.
Well, interestingly, Fintan McAllister has said a number of times in the last few overs how good Knockharley have been at not searching for wickets. So slip has come out and gone to third man.
And no ball called, so we're going to have a free hit, Isabel. It's all going wrong at the start of this 15th over. And the big thing I wanted to talk to you about as well is if we look at the bowling figures, who are they going to bowl?
Yep, correct. We were just speaking about this. They're going to need they've just brought on bowler number 5 from this end who's done well. That's Sohail Ramiz. He bowled his first over in over number 15, but they are going to need one more bowler. So all their top 4 bowlers, as you can see, have bowled really, really well, but they've none left. So who will be taking on the job from the end that Ross is bowling from now?
Correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to have to see a 6th bowler as well, because there won't be enough time for the 5th bowler to bowl his 4 overs. Free hit here. Powered into the offside, just going to be a single. But yeah, they've gambled, they've front loaded their attack, haven't they?
Yeah, we spoke about this. We said they decided they wanted to bowl their top 4 bowlers, see how many wickets they could get. It's a gamble. I think, it's either going to be the most genius captaincy you've ever seen because they didn't need the bowlers at the back end, or it's going to be the thing that costs them the game. But those are the decisions captains make in cricket. It's one of the reasons why it's the toughest sport to skipper.
Yeah, 4 beautiful overs of leg breaks. They were from the good doctor Cameron Mirza, showing the enthusiasm of youth, still at a fine age, like a fine wine. Cameron Beauty, bowl him. That's the 6th wicket. An absolute stunner from Shiv Mangal. The top of off stump is castled again. Game on here in Sydney Parade.
Well, we just spoke about whether it was a good idea or a bad one, bowling out your top 4 bowlers, and that could be the moment that Knockharley were praying for. It was a little bit loose at the start of the over from Shiv Mangal, but that's the perfect line, the perfect length, and Bibi Batal could do nothing but watch the bails fly.
Yeah, let's take a look at the replay. An absolute corker. Batal's feet went absolutely nowhere. That injury, no doubt, playing its factor. And it's the top of off stump that's hit for the 2nd time by Shiv Mangal. And all of a sudden, what a comeback from that boundary and no ball to start the over. The seesaw tilts back in Knockharley's favour again.
Yeah, well, Bibi Batal, not known for his foot movement, he was trying to get a little edge or a little touch on that ball into that region on the offside that he favours so highly, and he unfortunately just for himself has missed it, and it's brought Peter Forkin out to the middle.
Great joyous scenes of celebration. This is what cup finals mean. This is the real pinnacle of any club cricketer's summer. In this case it's the IBI Corporate Finance Tillain Cup final. Pressure on, more aggressive captaincy, catching fielder on the leg side. Big appeal, but clearly sliding down leg there, is he?
Well, they haven't needed it to be close to appeal, that's for sure, Knockharley, and you can forgive them the excited appeal. They know they're in with a chance here. Still a lot of work for Merrion to do, and on rather inexperienced shoulders here, Vicky Tillain and Peter Forkin. So Peter, lovely batsman, but very much so a bowler. So lots for him to do.
We've seen it's so difficult to score more than a run of ball on the wicket we have here today. It's certainly going to be a low scorer.
Another edge from Vicky Tillain. That one goes finer. That's 4 runs. Shouts of frustration from the fielder down here at third man. He had been at slip earlier on in the over. Feels maybe he should have been there still, but it's 2 fortuitous 4s for Vicky Tillain and much needed for Merrion CC.
Yeah, and apologies if you just picked up some audible frustrations there, understandably, from the fielder. Just a moment of frustration. Sorry if you heard that, but it flew fast off the outside edge to the right of the fielder at third man, who couldn't cut it off. And Dawani's innings is turning into a little gem right down towards our commentary position here, is he?
Another edge, but this time it goes straight to the fielder at third man, who collects well. It's he looks to me, Vicky Tillain, like someone who relishes the challenge. He looks happy to be out there. Doesn't look nervous at all. which is great to see. It's the attitude you need in this kind of situation as we close out the 16th over. And Merrion 73 for 6.
Yeah, you can see the graphics at the bottom of your screen there giving you the equation. 4 overs remain in this, the first cup final of 7 trophies that are going to be decided over this grand finals weekend. It's 23 more to win, just less than run a ball, but with the way run scoring has come at a premium today, it's not advantage Merrion just yet. 6 wickets down, of course, as well. That's going to come into it, is.
Yeah, huge pressure on the lower order. Like we said, T20 cricket, a lot of the time you don't get a lot of opportunity to bat in T20 cricket when you're down the order. So not ideal for Merrion to have their lower order in at this point.
God, how many edges have come for Dahwani. 1 going to the boundary, 3 singles down there now as well. Let's just take a quick look again at those bowling figures, because with Shiv Mangal, the second now being bowled out as well. Both the Shiv Mangals, Ross and Harry, bowled 4 very fine over spells, but Ramiz Sahel in just his second over. No doubt Jack Condy will bowl one of the remaining 4. Who's going to bowl the extra one? Who's going to bowl the 6th, the missing over?
Well, he'll be either hero or I dread to think Ramiz Sahel. Lovely looking shot from Peter Forkin there for no run. A ring field somewhat on the offside, so if Sahel can bowl with consistency, then he won't go for many runs.
Yeah, could it be hero or villain, that 6th bowler? And what a task he'll be set by Jack Condy as captain. Jack Condy will no doubt bowl 1. Ramiz Sahel, you have to think, will bowl 2 of them.
Peter Forkin looking to turn and go. He's hit that one wide of the fielder, and it's well run. He won't want to give this game away. Bowled really well in the first innings, as did his brother, and he'll be no doubt relishing the chance to take his team home.
Yeah, it's right around a run a ball at the moment. 20 to win now off the remaining 21 deliveries of the match. Every dot is crucial at this stage, Isabel.
Yeah, and with the wicket that we have and the state of the game and how slow the outfield is, it's just do the simple things well, Ramiz. Bowl on the spot, bowl straight, make the batsman do something out of the ordinary, and you might just find that you get another wicket.
Into the leg side, but another dot. I tell you, if we had the ability to give you a player cam at this point, I wouldn't be putting it on anyone on the pitch. I'd be putting it on Mr. Shiv Mangal in the outfield. He's walking around, pacing. He's got the phone pressed to his head, probably onto his wife, and he is living and breathing every ball right now.
Yeah, proud father, the absolute living picture of it. Shorter ball, but again, can't get it past the fielder, Peter Forkin. That's another well bowled over from bowler number 5, which is Ramiz Sahel. And who are we going to see now?
Well, surely it has to be this over, as you can't wait the whole way till the 19th or 20th over to use bowler number 6. You have to do it now.
Well, I think you might be right.
Well, we are. It looks to me like I might be completely wrong, and Condy might be saying, I'm going to keep gambling, keep trying to take this game as deep as possible.
Well, if he bowls now, I suppose he only needs 1 over from bowler number 6, but it'll be the last over.
It will be the 20th, where he could switch the ends of Ramiz Sahel and bowl the 6th bowler the 19th over. I suppose that would be the alternative option.
Yep. Oh, no, we are going to see a change. Looks like right arm off spin from around the wicket. So a bit less pace on it for Vicky Dalwan to get those edges to the boundary.
Yeah, I think this is Rashid coming in with his off breaks, and he's going to keep the cap on. Of course, the cap can't go to the umpire with the COVID regulations. He's just going to put it on baseball style and roll over a few off breaks from around the wicket.
Well, these are the kind of things you have to get used to seeing, aren't they? So yet another edge from Vicky Dalwan to get down the other end, and Rashid will bowl over the wicket to Peter Forkin. He's facing obviously what he bowls himself.
Boundaries are the key here. Is no boundaries, and Knockharley stay in this game. If they can take it to the 20th over, even if it's only 5 or 6 to win, they'll feel they might be able to get across the line. Good batting from the youngster. Just punched into the offside for a single, and that's really good experience from a young cricketer in Peter Forkin.
Well, I think what Knockharley have decided is that they're happy for Merrion to get a single off each ball of this over. They said, this is our sixth bowler. He's going to bowl flat. He'll bowl short of a length. It's not the kind of wicket where the ball will sit up. And they're happy to give away ones and twos, and it's the boundaries they're going to be protecting.
18 to win off 16 now. Hit down the ground, almost cannons into the stumps. Nearly had one of those horrific run-out dismissals that we get in cricket sometimes.
Would have been one of the more stylish ones. Rashid going into, it's called an on the walk, if you have done modern dancing.
Not my
Lenny?
speciality is
Well, now
the
you
modern
know,
dancing.
you know one position now. Down the wicket for Peter Forkin. It goes over extra cover. Fielder can't get around. And they're going to come back for two. That's really well but
The
done.
fielder's kind of run around that is. I felt if he turned immediately and almost ran backwards, it would have been a chance.
Those ones are the toughest, I think. You nearly need, if they go over one shoulder or the other, then you can tell where they are, but it went directly over his head, and that was where the issue was, really. And that's one's hit flatter by Peter Forkin. That's a beautiful shot over a very straight extra cover. Dances down. I said that Rashid was going to bowl flat. He didn't. Gave it a bit of air. Took the chance. Searched for the wicket. And that's 4 runs for the youngster.
We said this was the key over, is the 18th over, and what a moment in the match. That boundary 4 has made it advantage Merrion for the first time now. The runs required coming under a run of ball again. Critical boundary.
Plays that one away through point, backward point. Fielder is quick, but he won't be quick enough to stop the two. I apologise. From the angle I was at, it looked like it was over extra cover. In fact, it was a wideish mid off that previous over, and long off has gone out. And really good batting from Peter Forkin. A really, what's the word I'm looking for?
Adventurous little innings, yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's
he's just grabbed the bull by the horns and put Merrion, in my opinion now, for the first time in a little while, into the ascendancy. 11 runs coming from that over. It was always going to be the critical one. Such a difficult task for any bowler to come in and bowl just that solitary over. And now it's going to be 11 to win off the final 12 deliveries, 4 wickets in hand, and the pressure is now back on Knockharley.
I'll have to say, T20 cricket, some people can look at coming in at this stage as really pressurised. It was a time I used to love coming in, because you either win the game for your team, or you try and you try your best and you fail. There's no two ways about it. You know, there's not a lot of decisions to make, so you just got to do your best. But it is the skipper bringing himself back on. You called it, Lenny.
I think that shows the difference in our abilities. Is I always dreaded it because I more often than not letting the side down, but with your great skills at the wicket, you were more often than not leading Merrion or Ireland home to victory. But as you said, Jack Condy is going to gamble and get himself into the game in the 19th over. I think this is a good decision.
Definitely a good decision. You either win or lose the game in the 19th over in T20 cricket.
Yeah, so 9 to win.
Merrion won't want to leave too much to do in the last over. Down leg side. That's an incredible outcome for that delivery.
How was that missed? It's cannoned off. It looks like the back leg and somehow gone past the off stump, and the end result is going to be a leg by, which is signalled by Aidan Seaver. We might just be able to bring you the replay of that. Maybe not, but my God, we're seeing it on our screen here in front of us. And how did this miss is?
I'm still unsure how that one managed to miss the stumps, but he's played with a bit of freedom, Vicky Dalwan, and it's paid dividends for him today. And another edge, this time from Peter Forkin, as the wicketkeeper has a throw at the stumps, but surely Vicky Dalwan easily home.
Yeah, beautiful bowling, really impressive stuff from Condy. Finds the block hole, gets the Yorker in, and the attempted squeeze out from Forkin is effective enough to get through for a single. And you can see Knockharley, they're getting the squeeze on almost all the fielders in the circle, not just on the one, but really sort of almost catching it 10-15 yards away. So 7 more to win now, 10 deliveries. Knockharley, they need a wicket.
They certainly do. It's an interesting field on the leg side, where mid-wicket's almost on the ring and square leg is very, very tight. So there's no one in the deep. If he strays in his line at all, it's a free hit out to that leg side boundary. We fine leg, third man.
Yeah, it's almost a
Both
test match
sides.
field in the second last over of a of a T20.
A well hit down the ground to mid-off, but they're going to take on the fielder. The good doctor goes down his long barrier, makes sure it doesn't go through, but 3 really important singles for Merrion in the first 3 deliveries of this over.
Just 6 more to win now for Merrion seconds to take this IBI Corporate Finance Tillain Cup. And they could do it in 1 hit. We haven't seen many 6s hit today. Peter Forkin will just be looking to get something from these final 3 deliveries of the over.
Really well played through the leg side for Peter Forkin. He went deep in his crease, he played across the line. They're looking to see, can they come back for 3? Will they take on the arm? No, they've played it safe, and it's a good decision as it's fielded really well out in that boundary by Ross Shiv Mangal.
Yeah, outstanding fielding from Ross Shiv Mangal, but probably too little too late now for Knockharley. And are they just going to be cursing what could have been here? Because 5 or 6 overs ago I felt they were in the ascendancy despite only defending 95, but 4 more to win now for Merrion.
Full and hit straight to that fielder in mid-wicket. Well placed, Max Shiv Mangal that time.
They need a dot here, Izzy. If they can just squeeze out a dot or a wicket, strange things happen in the 20th over.
I'm really impressed by how Peter Forkin's going about this second last over for a youngster. He's not playing within himself. He's trying to hit boundaries. He's trying to hit through that field. He knows if he can get it through that he might be able to double or...
This has to be a dot or a wicket.
Full toss. They take on the fielder. It's a good decision. Another single for Merrion, and they know how important that is in the Merrion tent.
Yeah, an outstanding little knock this from Peter Forkin. It's actually changed the course of the whole cup final. 15 he has now from 14 deliveries. And what that means is that with 1 over remaining in the cup final, the first cup final of the finals weekend, is that Merrion need 3 runs to win. And remember, if we have 2 runs, we'll have a super over.
Well, wouldn't that just be exactly what we needed for this game? It's been just a real classic of a final. It's ebbed, it's flowed, it's seen some really good batting and bowling performances, despite the fact that it's been so low scoring, because it's been so difficult when people have made runs. It's been really impressive. None more so than that man facing up now, Peter Forkin.
Yeah, it would be fitting if Peter Forkin went on to hit the winning runs in this final bowl so well earlier. And he's played a beautiful little cameo. 6 balls to go, 3 to win.
Beautifully played by Peter Forkin down the ground. He's not left it to anyone else. 5 balls remaining. That one sails over the boundary, and what a performance from the youngster.
Yeah, Peter Forkin does hit the winning runs. It's fitting for the youngster from Merrion. He's been outstanding all day, and that innings has changed the cup final. He's going to finish with 19 not out. Full and into the slot, powered through the leg side. Knockharley, as they had the whole innings, they were having to gamble. They had all the field in, but what a gem of a knock from the youngster. He loves his cricket, this young man, and he's just become a cup final winner.
Well, what a performance from him. As he was coming out to bat, I wondered, was it the right decision from the skipper to send out Peter ahead of himself? And I think Peter had a very clear plan. He's a tall guy, even though he is young, so he played straight, which is the way to go on a difficult wicket. And he backed his skills. If you're going to win finals, you can't play from fear. You got to play from a place of danger. You got to take the game on.
Yeah, what a cup final we've had. What a start to finals day. Warm greetings and the modern handshakes, the elbow bumps that we're seeing everywhere now from both sides. But great delight for Merrion Cricket Club, who will become the first side to lift a trophy in the open competitions this year. 7 finals this weekend. And what a win it was. It didn't look too likely at some stages, but there you see the batting card on your screen. And a great little partnership between Vicky Dalwani and Peter Forkin has ended up getting Merrion over the line.
Yeah, bright and breezy innings from Vicky Dalwani. He was quite fortunate a few times, but you make your own luck, they say. And Peter Forkin came in and just looked like he had the game figured out, and that's the Knockharley bowling attack. They've bowled exceptionally well considering the total they had to defend. Really impressed, especially, well, all of the bowlers performed, but Cameron Mirza, 4 overs, 1 for 16, was probably the pick for today.
Yeah, all three of them. In fact, Jack Condy, Ross Shiv-Mangal, Harry Shiv-Mangal, superb. But I agree with you. The pick for me, 4 overs, 1 maiden, 1 for 16. The good doctor, Cameron Mirza, he's got plenty of life in his cricketing body left. And as you see what that means, the end result of the day is the first cup final, the first trophy of the year in the open competitions. It's taken all the way to September 12th to get there, but it's going to be going the way of Merrion Cricket Club.
And that skipper, Connor Austin, will no doubt be delighted to lift the trophy. Didn't have a huge role himself today, didn't bat, didn't bowl, but you know, in T20 you can sometimes afford to just have a great skipper on the team.
Absolutely, and there's the match summary on your screen in front of you. That's confirming the result. Merrion seconds have taken the win, and the IBI Corporate Finance Tillain Cup final. They've won by 4 wickets. We're going to be back with you with plenty more action this afternoon. We've got the LHW Financial Planning T20 final. We're going to be in for an absolute cracker in that Senior League Cup final between YMCA and Railway Union. But for now, for me, Andrew Leonard, and for my colleague Isabel Joyce, and of course the great man Fintan McAllister, we'll bid you farewell, and we'll see you this afternoon.
Thanks, Andrew.
present the winners of the IBI Corporate Finance Cup 2020 to Merrion second.